for all coming tonight for a special meeting for the information about the future of the brewery on 6 Rock Street. Will you please all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The clerk will read the call for the meeting.
I'm going to do the roll call first, Mr. Chairman.
Yep.
Councilman Gary Donovan.
Councilman Gary Donovan, present.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor is absent. Councilman Ronald Quagliani.
Councilman Ron Quagliani, Council at Large, present.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky, present.
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite.
Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite, 2nd District, present.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarali is absent. Councilman Mitchell Galagnano is absent. Councilwoman Robin Watt Hamilton.
Councilwoman Robin Watt Hamilton, 5th District, present.
Councilwoman Catherine Tucker is absent. Councilman Victor Boris.
Councilman Victor Boris, 8th District, present.
Councilman Robert Bruno.
Councilman Robert Bruno, 9th District, present.
Councilman Stephen Johnstone.
Councilman Stephen Johnstone, 10th District, present.
And Chairman Peter Massaro.
Chairman Peter Massaro, President, since they so councilman.
We do have a quorum, Mr. Chairman. And now I will read the call. West Haven City Council Notice of Public Hearing, Special Meeting, October 17th, 2023, Notice Agenda. In accordance with Rule Number 11 of the Rules Governing the Actions of the City Council, Chairman Massaro has called a public hearing, special meeting, to be held at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, October 17th, 2023. The meeting will be held at the West Haven High School Auditorium, 1 McDonough Plaza, West Haven, Connecticut. Welcome.
And we have a problem with the video for live stream. There's a firewall that's blocking us, so we're trying to straighten it out, but we'll do the best we can.
I just want to make a note that Councilman Mitchell Galagnano is present.
All right, we're discussing Communication B for August 28, 2023, agenda for Mayor Nancy R. Rossi in regard to the tentative lease agreement between the City of West Haven and Nebco Brewery, 6 Rock Street, West Haven. So right now, at this time, we're going to have Nebco come up and give their presentation.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman, point of order. I'd like to make a comment, please, that we should be having our public hearing before anything is presented.
We're going to have them do the presentation first, the way the agenda is written up.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Okay. Well, I know it's on the agenda, but I was just wondering if we're supposed to be having the hearing prior.
Oh, no, we're having them first, and then after that.
Okay, you can do it that way.
Thank you.
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Douglas Gray. I'm managing member of Rock Street Brewery, LLC, which is the developer of the site, bringing in New England Brewing Company. I'd like to say after a long time, we're very happy to be at this stage, hopefully. We've got presentation boards here on front on what our remodel is going to look like on this. Our timing is tight, but if we can get an approval, which we're asking for tonight, hopefully, get an approval of the lease, we plan on opening sometime in summer of next year. So trying to push this through to bring what I think is going to be somewhat of an iconic development, helping the seaside rejuvenation and bringing more people in to see West Haven. So we're excited about the opportunity to come here. We want to see it to fruition, and as you guys know, we've been a long time to get to this point, and we're hoping this is the final step and we can move ahead with alacrity from here. So with that, I'd like to introduce Marty Giuliano from New England Brewing Company to talk about their plans and timing.
Good evening, council members. Marty Giuliano, New England Brewing Company. You're all familiar with me. It's been a long time to get to this point, and it's been a little bit of a challenge, but it's good to be here, and being able to show visuals of the scaled back project for this space, to negate the lawsuits that were filed by the Land Trust and by Jimmy's. As we all know, those delay projects for an immense amount of time that we don't have as a business to do. So the thought process with this scaled back project to get to this point with the lease was to get something open to bring economic development to this city and to help overall with the city. I grew up here, and it's sad to see the way the city is currently. It's part of the reason that I moved out of West Haven, and it would be really cool to do something positive for this town and hopefully get it going in the right direction. In comments in previous things about this not being a brewery, that is false. There is a brew house in this space. It will produce beer in this space that will be served in this space, and possibly out at accounts in the market. We've also, as you can see from the drawings, kept the building pretty much the way it was, but just redoing the complete structure due to the disarray that the building is in currently. It's appealing to look at from the street. It'll be cleaned up. It will be a brewery. It will be in a destination place. It will have outdoor seating. It will have a small event space. And like I said, it will have the brew house, and it'll have a small kitchen for all the confusion that goes back and forth and what you hear on stories about serving food. Yes, there is a kitchen. Yes, there will be light food served. No, we will not sit down and serve prime rib dinners. That is not who we are. It's not who we intend to be. And that's still the direction that we will move, which was our plan from day one. I look forward to the public comment section, and if there's questions and you need me to answer them, I'm more than happy to get up. Or if any of you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to note that Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor is now present.
We have the attorney up and explain.
Karen, can you come up and explain the contract?
Sure. So you've all had this basic lease for a while.
I'm sorry, can we have your name, please?
Karen Kravitz.
Thank you.
This is the basic lease that we've been working with for many weeks. This version that you got on Friday is just the terms that we negotiated after our council meeting last week. I'm happy to answer any specific questions you have, but basically it's a 20-year initial term, 2 additional 20-year terms, and 1 additional 10-year term. The monthly rent is $6,000, subject to increase 10% every 10 years. And if they are able to expand to do what they'd like to do, which is more brewing and wholesale and distributing there, then the rent will go up to $8,300 $500 per month or $100,000 a year. They're basically, the lease itself is just for the 3.4 acres of ground. The improvements will be owned by the tenant during the term of the lease. Ownership will come back to the city whenever the lease terminates for any reason. So they are making an investment in the property to upgrade the property without owning those improvements. Those improvements basically come back to the city when the lease ends. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
I'll entertain any questions from the council one at a time. Gary?
Yes, thank you, Karen, for being here. So the 6,000 is just the lease of the land, the rent of the land, and taxes on the building and equipment will come once it is built. We don't have an idea of what that would be yet, or do we?
Well, we don't have an idea of what the taxes will be. There's just a cap on it.
And what is the cap?
The cap is 122 total at the 6,000. And if they're able to expand as they hope to do, the cap would go up to 180. So whatever the assessor assesses, we don't know what that would be, but there's a maximum on that.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Hosky?
Hi, thank you. Can you speak to the subleasing and the additional, what they can and cannot do if another party came in? I know that was one of the concerns that I had. So if you could just speak to that, that'd be great.
Yeah, so there's language in the lease that says that NEBCO is going to be the subtenant, and that they are responsible for the build-out with NEBCO as the subtenant. Once they complete the build-out and they're up and running, if for some reason after that the brewery doesn't succeed, then they are able to change the use to anything that would be allowed under zoning.
Can you speak to what's in the contract about what is not allowed?
Yes. Yeah, there's a whole paragraph in the lease about all the uses that would not be allowed. And it might take me a minute to find that, but bear with me. Okay. The premises shall be used for the purposes set forth in the lease summary, which is what we have described, and no other purpose without the landlord's prior written consent, which consent, the landlord is the city, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld, conditioned, or delayed. Tenant shall not use any portion of the premises for a discount department store, dollar store, firearms and/or ammunition store, charity, thrift shop, or the like, adult bookstore, adult entertainment establishment, liquor store. Yes, those are all the uses that are prohibited.
Councilman Quagliano?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Karen, could you just kind of go over the process once we complete our due diligence? So let's assume that the brewery gets approved. Now, the question is that what are we approving, right? So in my mind, if I'm going to be in favor of this project, I'm approving a tap room. And then if the owners determine at some point in the future that they want to go through the necessary process through zoning or whomever to expand that process, then they certainly have that option to do that, but I'm not approving that tonight. Is that correct?
That's correct. So the purpose of tonight is very limited. There's a statute that requires anytime the city leases property that it go out to a public hearing, that it have city council approval. And then as soon as the lease is approved, we would go on to the next step, which is zoning approval. And because they have scaled back what they're proposing to do, like they're not changing the footprint of the building. So they would go before Planning and Zoning Commission. It might not be a full-blown hearing as it was before because they're not changing the footprint of the building and the use is approved.
And that's what I want to bring out, that we're approving the opportunity to lease, a ground lease and put the building improvements on top of that ground lease. And then the next process, should the council approve that, would be to go in front of planning and zoning, where the community would be able to weigh in on what the building look like, what the parking looks like, and so on and so forth, right?
Right. Yeah, and I just want to be clear, if it's just a site plan review, there may not be public comment, but it will go before the Planning and Zoning Commission. That will require all of the approvals from city departments that are always required, the building department, engineering. Any changes to the building that are covered by the zoning regulations would have to be approved separately.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Talking to my constituents the last couple days, the question, I have a couple-part question here. The first part is, we got a little bit of clarification in executive session. The biggest question my side of town has, why all of a sudden are we back? Because we publicly pulled out all over the register, all over the news and multiple outlets, and quoted, we have two other options and we're going to go that route. So I think for transparency purposes, the council has heard the reason, but I think the public needs to hear the reason. That's my first question. My second question is, if you feel you need to elaborate, I'm curious to know if you're willing to share what those two other options were. And those are my questions. Thank you.
That's not a question for me, so I will let Nevco answer that question.
To answer that question for everybody, the reason that we are still here tonight is due in part to Senator James Maroney jumping in and wanting to save this project for West Haven and getting together with the state and talking to us the next day and keeping the negotiations open with Mayor Rossi, Tom McCarthy, people in the city to keep us in the game to still bring this to West Haven. That's why we are here. And as for naming where Plan B options are, I won't do that. But thank you for asking.
Set? Councilwoman Hossie.
Marty,
thank you, guys.
I wanted to just ask,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I? Oh. I just wanted to ask, and I don't recall seeing it in the contract, maybe I didn't read it. I know that you guys are going to sponsor the fireworks, but I know originally, and maybe you might have put it in here, that when you first came before us, as far as being a good neighbor, a good citizen, and that you had talked about jobs and ensuring that people that worked at the brewery, there was a percentage of those being residents, and I know I brought that up, and if you did add it to the contract, I can't tell you that I saw it. I apologize. Can you just speak to that request and what came of it?
Yes, we did, and Six Rock and NEBCO were certainly agreeable to that, and we did add a provision to the contract that basically says that they will use commercially reasonable efforts to recruit and solicit and hire West Haven residents for their openings.
And I would just think it would be really cute, similar to what the guy down in Florida does, is that when he says Bridget, it says West Haven. I just think that West Haven residents love to see Westies on the premise, so that might be just something to do that we just like to know that, because there's not another way you'd report out on it, but just so that we know that it is occurring. Thank you.
Yes.
And we're still doing the fireworks too, right?
Yes, so there's a provision in here that says they will sponsor between those two events up to $5,000, and they will have an opportunity to be a title sponsor at whatever level that ends up being down the road if they choose to do so.
Was that Councilwoman?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Warren?
Thank you, Chairman. Just quick question. I know that it was in the newspaper saying you guys are going to pull out and all that, but I just hope that you guys can just confirm to the people that, you know, why do you want to be at West Haven? Like, that you really don't want to leave here. I think the people here want to hear a sincere answer from you guys so that they can believe in you, right? Because West Haven, we love West Haven. And anybody that comes here, we want to know that they care about West Haven. So my people, my constituents want to make sure that you really do want to be here and you're not just looking to say, hey, we're going to leave again. So can you just go on the mic and just let people know that you really want to be here? Make them feel it.
I don't know, investing $500,000 over the last 2 years into this project, if that doesn't say somebody wants to be here and going through this whole process as long as we have, that in and of itself. We've put our heart and soul into this, and our plan was to be open probably about a year and a half ago on the original plan. And we are still here today with no movement forward, and we're here to this process, and unfortunately, this is what happens. And unfortunately, it's not the first time that it's happened to us in different cities either. So it's the nature of politics and the way things work, and it's unfortunate that sometimes those take precedent over moving business forward for a community.
Thank you.
Councilman Johnson?
I think it is important to note that when Marty talked about Plan B, Plan A is West Haven. So it wasn't like we're down the list. West Haven is the first choice. Let's remember that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Garfield.
I have a question for the attorney. Hi, thanks for coming. This morning, we got the revised lease at, I believe it was 8:52 a.m., and I opened it at about, 11 something. To be honest, I didn't even get a chance to review it, so I was fielding questions from residents all day because they were wondering why wasn't the lease put online. I texted our council clerk, a council admin, and she said that our chairman did not want the lease online. I have a little bit of an issue with that because I believe that the lease should be online for all of the residents, especially when they're calling me and asking me. Can you let the residents here know, is that proper protocol to not put the lease online for the residents of the city? Because I had actually called the acting deputy corp counsel, and he did not return my phone call because I wanted to know the answer to this question. Because it's, in my mind, I'm here to serve the residents, and if I don't know whether or not this is legal to not have the lease online for the residents to view, how can I vote? And how can I vote when I just actually got the lease this morning and I really did not have a chance to review all of the changes?
Yeah, so I just want to say this. This document we have been working on for several weeks. So prior to all these city council meetings, this document has been presented. It has morphed and changed. It has been negotiated. The last negotiation was last week at the city council meeting. The lease was finalized and forwarded on Friday with all the final proposed terms based on the feedback that we got from the council and based on our negotiation with Six Rock. I really cannot speak to when it was provided to the council and the public.
Okay, so, in terms of, because we don't have a corp counsel here, right? There's no corp counsel to represent? Okay. So can you let us know if it's appropriate for us to be voting tonight on a lease that is being proposed that the residents didn't have the final revisions posted online?
I believe if the council feels that it has all the information it needs that has been presented to them over the last several weeks, I believe that you are able to make that decision tonight if you choose to.
Okay, so the revisions were sent, like I stated earlier, the revisions were sent early this morning. A lot of us work, not a lot of us can review everything, and I think the council knows I'm a very detail-oriented person, and I need to review it. I don't believe that this last email that was sent with our lease we didn't get enough time. So for me, it's going to be very hard for me to even vote without not having to go front to back on the lease just to make sure there's nothing in there, because it's my name, and I represent these residents, and it's my due diligence to make sure that, we're getting a good deal. And I'm not sure that I've had enough time to do that. But you're saying that there's no real legal reason that this should be online. We're just responsible for it. Not the residents don't have any right to read the final, because they've only had 5 hours. This is the major complaint that I'm getting from my constituents. So.
Right. So I think I've said this before in prior meetings. It's important for the committee, the council, to be educated as to what's going on. As I believe Attorney Kravitz mentioned, the overwhelming majority of this lease hasn't changed from when we started the process. Last week we have discussed the final terms. The final terms were sent last week, which is as soon as we could have gotten them to the council for their approval and for their review. The final terms that were added to this were somewhat few. The overwhelming majority, I mean, if it's a 25-page lease, I would say maybe it was changed for about a half a page of the entire thing. The rest of it has largely stayed the same, which is mainly like the rental amount, the term, the material parts have changed, but this is something that we've discussed last week. So I think that, if you've had a chance to review it, I know that there was an opportunity if you haven't and you don't feel like you're able to make that decision, perhaps that's a personal decision, but I think that there's information that the council, each member has to weigh that individually.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I got something to say. Part of this was sent to us on Saturday, this contract, Friday, actually, late in the afternoon, part of it. The other part, 2 parts were missing, was the final figures on it. So the final figures were the ones that we discussed at our council meeting. So most of this writing was sent to us, and they had to finish Part A, which we got this today. And I tried to push for the whole thing Friday, but they said they had to finish out the figuring of the figures. So that's why we got the figures this morning. But most of it came to us Friday late in the afternoon, because I know I printed it out on my computer. So.
I just want to speak to that. The final dollar amounts were decided at our meeting on Tuesday night, and the final dollar amounts were in the lease that was sent on Friday. The only thing missing from the lease was Exhibit B, which is a site plan, because there isn't a new site plan, because the footprint of the building is not changing. So that's the only thing that wasn't there on Friday. Everything else, everything we discussed Tuesday night, everything that was decided Tuesday night is in the lease and was provided on Friday.
Councilman Quaglione.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listen, I think we're going to have an opportunity after the public comment session. I believe there's an item on the agenda, action if necessary or something. I think we could have that debate whether the council has their information or not, whether to vote tonight. I'd like to hear what the community has to say instead of kind of belaboring this any longer. And if we could, I'd like to make the recommendation that you ask public comment from West Haven residents first, and then followed by whomever else. So I would really like to hear from the public if we could move to that point.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. And we'll hear from public comment. Mr. Falcone. By the way, it's 5-minute speech.
We are in the public hearing portion of the
Public session.
meeting, right?
Public session.
Public session?
Yeah, we just voted to go into public session.
Chairman Massaro, members of the council, my name is Vincent Falcone. I practice law at 334 Main Street. I live at 648 Ocean Avenue. I was born here. I will die here, and hopefully not during this presentation. I represent Shell and Bones. The lease before the council.
Excuse me, we got to stick to the agenda here. What's on the agenda here has to do with the
We're
brewery.
talking about the lease,
Yeah, the lease on the brewery, that's it.
but I represent. I think they should know who I represent. I'm not here as a neutral. I represent a client. They should know that.
Understandable, but Shell and Bones did not put out for the RFP. This is right now only NEBCO's RFP, and they're the only ones that responded to it.
Sir, before I get into my presentation, hasn't the memorandum of understanding with the so-called brewery expired under its terms?
Has not.
Has not?
Has not.
Was it extended?
It never was redrawn.
It never was extended, was it? So it expired under its own terms in April of 2023. It had 2 90-day possible extensions, but it was never extended, and the public did not find out about it until 7 days ago when a citizen pointed it out on the public record. May I do my presentation?
All right, go ahead.
If I'm out of order, the council can call me out of order. The lease before the council and before the public was first posted today. I had a chance to scan it, but I'm sure many gathered here never had a chance to read and consider it. This document is not just for the council, it's for the people. It's a people's document because it's going to govern that piece of land for generations. When I looked at it, what jumped out at me was we're dealing with a developer and not the New England Brewery, NEBCO. The developer is the tenant. There is no personal guarantee on it. Just the signature of a Delaware LLC. NEBCO is not even a signatory to the lease, only a subtenant. The brewery, and it's always been the brewery, are not moving their commercial brewing operation to West Haven. Why? Why? Why not? Pick another spot in West Haven, a large enough spot so West Haven can have a brewery. Why not? They're giving us a tap room. Under permitted use on page 1, the developer can change the use in its business judgment to any use permitted in that zone. And there are many under as of right and special permit. Check it out. Probably 20 to 30 uses permitted under that zone. And I'm not talking about a dollar store. The basic rent is $72,000 a year or $6,000 a month after they originally tried to rent it for $40,000 a year but were rejected. Then they walked away. The memorandum of understanding they had with the city expired 6 months ago. Then mysteriously the brewing company reappeared, indicating it would have a tap room. That's a rather nice name for a bar. Doesn't West Haven have enough bars, I ask? Maybe a bar with some frills, and maybe even a vat, and maybe some limited brewing capacity, but a bar nonetheless. When the quote-unquote brewery walked away in September, my client saw a chance to get into the game. In contrast, they came to me on October 2nd. They engaged my office. The very next day, we filed a letter of intent, not only with you council people, but at the register, and the next week, I read their letter of intent into the record. So the people got a fair shot of knowing what their intentions are. And yet, today, sometime in the afternoon or around noon, for the first time, the new lease was published where some people have seen it and many have not. Our offer is superior. More money for a longer period. Our proposed use fits our shoreline like a glove. How glorious would it be to have a wedding there? Why shouldn't Shell and Bones have a fair chance and their offer be considered against any other offer in the best interests of all the citizens of West Haven? Why rush the judgment? You are not dealing with just this year or next year or the next 5 years or the next 10 years, but with generations. And as a Westie for life, I think you should do best for the city and not just get the show on the road as fast as you can. Thank you for your time and attention. I appreciate it.
Hey. Anyone else like to come up and speak? You're a West Haven resident, sir?
I am not.
Oh, West Haven residents first.
I'm speaking on behalf of my partner, who's a West Haven resident and just couldn't be in town tonight.
Who would that be?
Mark Knight, lives on First Avenue.
Could you just please state your name and address, and also maybe his name and address, Mr. Chairman?
My name is Rob Bolduc. I'm from Guilford, Connecticut. My partner, Mark Knight, lives on First Avenue, 151 First Avenue in West Haven. And my other partner is Daniel Kay, who lives in East Haven. I'm one of the partners at Shell and Bones Restaurant, as well as 4 other successful restaurants. We've been in the restaurant business for 16 years and opened Shell and Bones about 8 years ago. We have had great success.
It is a point of order, Chairman, I believe.
Listen, I let the attorney come up and speak about it, but I'm not going to entertain this right now. This is strictly for the brewery, people to talk about the brewery. This is
No
what
one
this
else
agenda
has a
is for.
shot at getting this after they had pulled out and said that they weren't going again.
Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Bobby Dunn. I'm a West Haven resident. I feel like we've let this property go on too long. It's decaying, it's dangerous. I think the brewery is the way to go, and it's not a bar. A brewery closes much earlier. A bar closes at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's a completely different kind of business. So I fully support the brewery. They've done so well in Woodbridge. They seem to be civic-minded. I actually know Marty through a friend of mine, Linda Morrow.
Ma'am, would you please state your address first, please?
Sure, it's 58 Tyler Avenue.
I didn't catch your last name, ma'am.
Dunn, D-U-N-N-E.
Thank you so much.
And I just feel like they'd be an asset to our community. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cindy Yale Duane, and I'm at 62 Aircraft Road. I grew up here in West Haven, but after having spent 9 years living in Florida full-time, away from the winter, I realized with some help from COVID that there is no place like home. Nowhere do people pull together for each other like Westies do. Now is the time to come together for each other and do what is in the best interest of West Haven, and that is to bring New England Brewing, an amazing community-minded community partner, to Savin Rock. spent a lot of time wishing I was back home, helping to move this city forward to be what I know it has the potential to be. So here I am, putting my money where my mouth is, my tax money. We pay a lot of taxes in this town, and for that we need more. More investment from our mayor and city council to act in our best interest. More balls to take on the bully that is Jimmy's, or the never budging feet in concrete land trust. What I want everyone up there to remember is that everything is negotiable. And as Westies, we shouldn't back down when the stakes are this high. Also, I'm just going to point out, it's already in here, I read the new lease agreement this afternoon in less than an hour. 3 o'clock. I hope that it can be approved or negotiated to acceptance. When the previous lease agreement was in question, I couldn't and still don't understand why there wasn't more negotiating. Did those that were opposed think that the building as it is right now was the best choice? Do better. Stay at the table until there is a plan in place that works. Our best resource is our shoreline. We don't want to waste this opportunity and others in the future that could showcase it to its fullest potential while still maintaining the integrity of the beaches we all love and need. We can have the best of both worlds, but the people in charge need the vision and the willingness to think outside the antiquated box to make it happen. Also, maybe it's time to talk about the land trust and how it's supposed to be there to protect the shoreline, but all I see right now is it hindering responsible development that would make West Haven thrive. 6 or 8 feet of moving a sidewalk out, is that the hill they want to die on? What makes sense when the land trust was created, or what made sense when the land trust was created over 30 years ago, is not the same today. Things change and they evolve. Where has keeping things the same gotten us lately? Think about the trickle-down effect that NEPCO will have on other local businesses. Visitors to NEPCO will discover Duffy's, Apps, The Breakwall, Moby Dick's, Turks, Stowe's, to name just a few. We want our local businesses to do well, so let's make it happen. And also to Attorney Falcone, this is not just another bar. If you have ever visited other breweries with tap rooms or tasting rooms, you would know that. And doesn't Shell and Bones have a bar? Okay. So in closing, the history of Savin Rock remains, but we can't go back. We have to move forward in a way that benefits West Haven and brings new businesses in. New England Brewing will kickstart that growth, and other responsible development will follow. I'm willing to bet on it.
Hi, I'm Susan Dangle, D-A-N-G-L-E. I live at 52 Harding Avenue. I'm a lifelong Westie and a certified beach lover, and I believe we can have both. Our lovely shoreline and a successful and thriving new business in our city. My primary question is, what is West Haven afraid of? NEBCO is an established building, a business, and a generous citizen. They are actively engaged in local charities, including the Closer to Free Ride, which is near and dear to my family. Most of our surrounding towns and cities have welcomed breweries into their communities. And having visited some of those establishments for different events, we all know that they can draw a wide cross-section of the community to gather and enjoy themselves. West Haven having such an establishment can make our city a destination and bring success to other local businesses. Would we rather have a dilapidated building blight the shoreline, as is with so many other places in the city? My husband, Gary, and I are very much in favor of NEBCO renovating and moving into the current conference center property. This could be the impetus of more thriving businesses becoming respectable citizens in West Haven.
Good evening, City Council members and everyone who's come out tonight. My name is Michael Butler. I live at 159 Atwater Street. I come from a long line of West Haven residents. My grandparents grew up here, bought land here, bought their own home, and built it here in West Haven. They had 3 children who grew up and went to school here. My aunt and uncle still live here and have lived there their whole life. My cousin and her husband live here, and I myself have now lived here for about a decade now. When I was first moved here, my father, who moved from West Haven to Milford, warned me not to stay here, not to have kids, because West Haven doesn't have the best reputation. But that hasn't exactly changed in the last few years. Campbell Ave isn't exactly a tourist draw. More news about corruption and such poor city management that the state was maybe and still is going to take over. The ongoing abysmal failure and the horror story that is the Haven Project, and now the embarrassment of not letting NEBCO onto our property, or onto our town. The only good thing I think everyone can agree about West Haven is the boardwalk. It's well kept and beautiful, except for the conference center. New England Brewing Company has offered to solve numerous problems at once. A newly renovated building that will bring the community together, beautify the eyesore on the boardwalk, bring in new jobs, bolster our reputation, and bring in much, much needed tax money. I've heard some of the detractors' reasonings for stopping this project, and I think the overwhelming majority of us here, at least, approve of it. I think I'd like to go over why those fears are unwarranted. Let's start with Jimmy's and the fear of parking. Has anyone been to Jimmy's lately? Drove by their restaurant? I live 2 minutes away from the boardwalk, and I've been walking my dog there almost every day the entire spring and summer. You know how many times I've seen a full parking lot? Never. Have I seen it busy? Once. They have a main lot, an overflow lot, and no one needs all that space, certainly not Jimmy's. Most of it is taken up by people just going to the beach anyway. Maybe the first few weeks of NEBCO opening will be extraordinarily busy, but for the most part, I believe there's more than enough parking. Look at nearby breweries like Tribus, Two Roads, Thimble Island, and even the current NEBCO space. Parking isn't really an issue there. And other than Two Roads, I would reckon they all have less spaces available to them than NEBCO would have. Yes, events do get busy, but who's to say that NEBCO couldn't do what Two Roads does during large events and have shuttles bring people from unused weekend parking lots and the train stations? Parking is a non-issue, so what's Jimmy's afraid of? The business that'll bring in? When was the last time they had their outside bar open and staffed to entice customers in from the beach? Not since I've seen, since before COVID. Jimmy's even admitted in the recent Don't Blame Us ad that NEBCO will bring in business, but not just to Jimmy's. Sushi X, La Katrina, Turks, Duffy's, Apps, Breakwall, even Dive Bar farther down the road could see a huge surge in business with NEBCO there. Maybe even stores like Dollar Tree, thank you. Even stores like Dollar Tree and the beach rental store would see an increase. NEBCO also is a place to bring the community together. People worry about the type of crowd NEBCO would bring in, truly haven't been to a brewery. This isn't a Campbell Ave bar, of which the town has no problem opening up one every 2 weeks. Brewery crowds tend to be more mature and more responsible. I go to breweries all over, and I never see the same drunken, disorderly conduct that you see at many bars. Bringing more adults to the boardwalk might also discourage the amount of teenagers that cause trouble on the boardwalk that I know many have been concerned about recently. Breweries hold numerous events that bring the town together not just for beer, but to showcase local shops, vendors, crafts, music. They hold fundraisers to help out local organizations to have a place to celebrate and have a place to celebrate personal events for family and friends. And this is where I bring up the Shell and Bones proposal, which again, like was said earlier, is another bar. Another restaurant would obviously not help surrounding ones as much. As well, Shell and Bones, which I admit is a good restaurant, is one made for the wealthy Yaleys living in New Haven. It is far too expensive for the average person to eat at more than once a year. This is a place that would not bring the community together, but just bring in the wealthy who'd simply eat there and leave. Maybe it'd even take some of the business from Jimmy's and
Point of
Turks.
order. Point of order. Let's just stick to the brewery, please. Thank you.
All right. The other concern then is too many trucks going in and out of a brewery, causing traffic if it was a full brewery. A brewery isn't an Amazon warehouse. I've been to Two Roads, which is another major brewery, and I've never once seen a large truck cause an issue and rarely see them go out during business hours. And finally, the land trust. If I'm not mistaken, NEBCO had already agreed to help expand the boardwalk and wouldn't damage the actual Savin Rock, which was the concern of this trust. Is that not what construction crews, environmental engineers, and inspectors are there for, to ensure no harm goes to the land and that everything goes as agreed upon? I believe you can see by the turnout today and the clapping, and I'm sure you've read the comments on the internet, that a majority of your constituents want this to happen. The people who vote for you, who put you into this position, your duty is to the will of the people, not some land trust and an old restaurant that's afraid of change. Because that's what this comes down to, as far as I can see. The fear of change, of progress, of moving forward. New England Brewing Company will bring in jobs, will bring in tax money, will help bring the community closer, will help revitalize the boardwalk, West Haven's most recognizable area, and go a decent way of changing the public's opinion of this city. With all this in mind, I say you must say yes to NEBCO. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Donna Raza. I live at 35 Chestnut Street. And I have some concerns about the brewery. I think it's great that we're going to have something finally coming there. But once the memorandum ran out, I think that it should have been opened up to everyone. And if the brewery is what it's going to be, then that's what it's going to be. But $6,000 a month for rent with a 10% over 10 years. I've had multifamily homes in my lifetime, and you certainly did more than 10% of an increase over a 10-year period of time. And then we have a cap on their equipment. Is this going to be something that's going to be given to every restaurant and bar and business in West Haven? There's going to be a cap? Or are we just doing it for NEBCO? So I'm good with something coming to that site. The drawings look beautiful. It may be very well a great thing to have there, especially if you have non-alcoholic beer. But I don't understand the $6,000 a month for rent. You're giving 3 acres for $6,000 a month rent and a cap on the taxes for their equipment. If you do this, I hope you're going to open this up to every business in West Haven, because every business in West Haven fought like hell to survive COVID. And the ones that were lucky enough to do so could use a break on their taxes also. And I've only been a West Haven resident, and like the young man that just spoke, my father also was born and raised here, and he said, don't move to West Haven. It's got a bad reputation. And 20 years ago I did, and I love West Haven. I love the people in West Haven. West Haven's been good to me, and I think I've been very good to West Haven. To this young lady up here, I agree. I didn't see the thing also, and getting something at 8:52 in the morning when you have a real job, you don't have time to read it when you get out of work at 4:30, you want to run home, change, and get to this meeting. So those are my concerns. $6,000 a month for 3 acres hardly seems like a fair deal for this city. And I think the residents of this city have already gotten a lot of raw deals with the COVID money and everything else. It's time that it's not on the taxpayers' back. So the city council, I hope you can do the right thing. And as Westies, we can all have a different opinion and still be okay with each other. Not boo and clap. And let's just, I'm sitting back here and I'm even watching the facial expressions of some of the councilmen. You represent us. You represent every one of us. Whether you like our opinion or you dislike our opinion, respect us. We respect you. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Crystal Finale, 46 Honor Road, and I'm here tonight to just speak out in support of the brewery. I think several people who spoke before me probably made a lot of the same points that I want to make tonight much more eloquently, but I too, like most of the people that spoke, have been a lifelong resident of West Haven. I was on the council 2 years ago when NEBCO first presented the proposal. And for a long time, and myself, friends of mine have been saying what a perfect location the conference center would be for a brewery. And when they came up with that proposal, I was like, it's finally happening. This is great. I was disappointed to see it being, that they had to scale it back over time, but I am thankful for NEBCO to still be interested in West Haven, despite the lawsuits that I can assure you do not represent the views of most of the residents here. I'm thankful to Senator Maroney for kind of stepping in and keeping this afloat. But I do want to make the point that I know other people have made. Breweries are not bars. Tap rooms are not bars. There's a big difference. And I think NEBCO coming in is going to help with 2 problems we have in the city that I see as a resident anyway. One is very much needed economic development. And another one is there just isn't a lot to do. And one thing about breweries that's different than restaurants or very different than bars is that they're very family friendly. If you go to breweries, you see people there with their children, you see people there with their dogs, you see elderly people, people of all ages. What you don't see are a lot of drunk young college students, because it's not a bar, it's very different. Living here, it's frustrating sometimes that you always have to go out of town to do something. So it would be great to have NEMCO here and have something to do in town. And again, NEMCO is a company that is a well-established company. We're not taking a chance on a fledgling business that might go under in a few years and then leave that building vacant. So they already have a following. They're going to bring in people to West Haven that may not otherwise be coming here. Those people are going to stop at our gas stations to fill up their tanks on their way in and out. They're going to stop at our restaurants to eat. Another restaurant in that space wouldn't bring business to surrounding restaurants. So I think that NEBCO is going to be a catalyst for much-needed economic development. I think it's going to give the people here something to do. They're a company that gives back to the town. That's something that West Haven very much cares about. I did read the contract online. It was there this afternoon, so I don't see why that's an issue with the timing of that. And again, to echo some of the sentiments of some of the other people, you do represent the town, and I hope that everyone on the council puts your politics aside and looks at all the support that NEBCO has, both in people that are here in person tonight and the feedback online, because I think overwhelmingly people in this town want to see NEBCO come. And so to vote against it because people of a different political party kind of help drive the project forward is just doing a disservice to the town. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Sheila Kracher. I live on 2 Park Ridge Road. I am not a lifetime West Haven resident, but I have moved here from New York in 1999. I have raised 2 children. We have businesses in the city as landlord and as a landscaping company. We are fully in support, my husband and I, of the NEBCO project. I am sorry it has taken our city this long to get to this point. Please vote yes today. Please let this open up in the summer of 2024 so that I don't have to drive to North Haven on a Sunday and spend my money at 12% to listen to music there, so that I can spend my money here, because on the matter of just a few hours, you listen to music, you have a couple drinks, you eat something quickly, and then you're home by 6 o'clock. So please, we're begging you as residents, as taxpayers, that you make this adjustment, you make it today, and don't put it off any longer. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Thaddeus Boska. I live at 44 Peck Avenue. Unlike a lot of the folks who've spoken, I'm pretty new to West Haven. I moved here a little over a year ago, so I can't speak to the history or really even knowledge of what used to be here, but I want to represent as best I can. People told me also, don't move to West Haven. What I found when I actually looked here was a beautiful town, a town that I love, and I think that this brewery kind of fits a vision for the future that would be really exciting for the town. I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think people reading into the lease, and when it comes out, it's a brewery. It's going to be nice. I came to this town to raise my daughter, and it's a perfect place to bring like a little kid and have a beer and sit by the ocean, and I just can't imagine that West Haven already doesn't have something like this. So thank you to NEBCO for trying and putting up with this, and my little corner of the world would love to see you here.
Hi, my name is Sarah Boska. I live at 44 Peck Avenue. I think West Haven has so much potential, and thank you to NEBCO for seeing that. But our shoreline is super depressing right now. The building is falling apart, and I did have time to read the lease. I think it's totally fair and fine. I think NEBCO would be really great for the community. It would brighten up the shoreline and bring new people in. I would really love to see that area come to life. I think it would be great to actually see cars in that enormous parking lot. I think maybe Jimmy's is scared of competition, but honestly, they could be beneficial to each other. Beer and fried food go great together.
It's up to you,
Hold
Mr.
off
Chairman.
on the speeches for a minute. We're going to read a couple letters that we received.
There are quite a few. I'm not going to read all of them all at once. Well, I guess we'll go back and forth. Okay, this is George Sinkavage, 787 Washington Avenue. Don't want them encroaching and moving the sidewalk by the ocean. Also, the original drawing for the building was ugly steel sides, a no-go. I prefer the Shell and Bones restaurant. Put Nebco where the mall was to go. This one is from Ann Pacelli, 74 Pauline Ave, West Haven. I'm in support of the proposed brewery to occupy and conduct business in the former Savin Rock Conference Center building on Captain Thomas Boulevard. This business would be a boom to the boardwalk, a welcome for all the fine West Haven restaurants, a go-to place for area college students, a place for friends to meet and greet families to gather for reunions, for much-needed West Haven tourism, and become a welcome tenant in a neglected and empty former gathering space, which has become a ghost of its former self. West Haven has the longest and most beautiful waterfront in the state, and this business would be a perfect fit. Please do the research on all of the other breweries in the state to concur that this location would be sublime in this location for residents and tourists alike. Please make the correct decision and allow the brewery to breathe life into a crumbling artifact, an older memory of what was in West Haven then. With an eye to the future, I say, let's go. This one is from Ralph Preet, 76 Tummel Lane, West Haven. I have spoken out twice at the last two council meetings, regular council meetings, regarding my position and that of most people in my acquaintance with respect to the disposition of the Savin Rock property in question. It seems as though circumstances have changed in the past few weeks. However, it now makes it much easier to do with that property what the city council in the late 80s had in mind when it passed resolutions requiring the city to not only preserve open spaces then existing, but to also purchase whatever parcels not yet developed. One of these was what was then known as the casino, now called West Haven Conference Center. Regardless of the name, however, no commercial enterprise has ever succeeded in that location, and the chances are that none ever will. In other words, 5 to 10 years from now, you will find yourself sitting in the same place trying to bail out another failed project. It is my understanding that in addition to the Nebco developer having bailed out, the city may also be receiving about $900,000 from the state to rehabilitate, waste money on the existing building. It is better use of that money to do what should have been done 35 years ago. That is, tear down the building and replace it with a park-like area where anyone can go in peace to relax and admire the wonders of the waterfront, God's gift to us. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Simplicity is always better and can be added to as time and money become available. If properly designated, it would require very little maintenance. And best of all, 100 years from now, people will still be enjoying it and hopefully thanking whoever had the foresight to give them such a gift. Yvonne Vitella, 141 Leet Street. Hello, my name is Yvonne. I understand that you are my council person for the 1st District, and I know there is a meeting about the brewery tomorrow, and I want to say that I'm totally in favor of it, and many other people would be great for West Haven and do something with the shoreline that will benefit all of us. I just want to say yes, I cannot make the meeting, unfortunately, but yes to the brewery. Please be great if it goes through. Thank you so much. This one is from Christopher Evans. End this nonsense, put out a request for proposals for the site usage. Proposals should include the length of the lease, the proposed usage, and the city's requirements for rent, and 1.5% to 2% of the monthly gross. Bids require a non-refundable fee. This is from Allison Gatson. I want to voice my support for New England Brewing Company on the West Haven shore. We shouldn't allow a few grumpy people to decide this issue. The waterfront needs rejuvenation, and the brewery would liven things up. This one is from Deborah McLennan. Can you please raise the question why Shell and Bones is not being mentioned? This is a reputable, great restaurant. They have real money, and they would love that spot. This is from John D'Amico Jr. Good morning, my name is John D'Amico Jr. I own my home at 53 Hilltop Lane. I am all for the NEBCO. They are a well-established business known throughout the Northeast. They would bring people from all over West Haven. The people that visit local breweries know the value of local mom-and-pop establishments and tend to patronize them. The conference center is making the city no income tax or otherwise. It is an eyesore on our beautiful boardwalk, as is Jimmy's, which needs to be updated, but that's a different email. Some council members would rather have an eyesore making West Haven no money than an established, well-known, widely popular business that could bring much-needed income to the city. Maybe I'm wrong, but the last time I checked, $4,400 a month is more than zero a month. In closing, I feel NEBCO would be an asset to the city. Breweries bring local-minded people to a community, and beer culture, if you will, isn't to be confused with drunk culture. In my many years of visiting local breweries from West Virginia to Maine, over 70 of this in Connecticut, I have yet to see a stumbling drunk causing problems for local police or residents. Sally Mayer, in negotiations with the brewery and the restaurant, and hopefully anyone else who is looking to relocate to the Savin Rock Conference Center, will the city be offering tax breaks to the successful occupant? And if so, will they be offering the same tax breaks to the current restaurants and businesses who have struggled so hard to make it through COVID, and for the most part, our West Haven residents who are already paying their fair share? Kate Smullen, 54 Anawan. Hello, I am writing in support of NEBCO Brewery at the Conference Center location. As a lifelong resident, I think it's time we embrace a local attraction as many other towns and cities have. We need to focus on a strong future of West Haven, and this will be a step in the right direction. Donna Raza, greetings. My question is, since we have no agreement with NEBCO and has not already expired, will the city open up this project for all showing interest? I have a great concern that the city council is possibly shutting out all other prospects. I don't believe the city is in a position to turn away an opportunity to make more money on the property. The citizens of West Haven sadly have been given cause to not to have trust in the council to operate the city in the city's best interest. This is from Elizabeth McCarthy, paralegal from Burstein, Burstein, Volpe, and McCann. Good afternoon. Since I'm unable to attend the meeting tomorrow evening, I thought it would be nice to voice my opinion via email. I was born and raised in West Haven, and my parents were lifelong residents as well. I've lived in Branford for a number of years while raising my children, and recently moved back to my roots down on the West Haven shoreline, not very far from the intended location of the new brewery. While living in Branford, I was able to watch the Stony Creek Brewery be built and flourish into a beautiful venue located on the Branford River. Stony Creek Brewery has drawn families and businesses successfully for years now. They are very philanthropic with the community, and it is absolute stunning venue. At the Stony Creek Brewery, we parents would hold many sporting meetings and let our children play and eat while the parents met. It's very family friendly. There were concerts and many fundraisers held there, and quite often just some good, clean fun. They have a few food trucks out in front, and we were also encouraged to bring our own food. Stony Creek is also always perfectly clean, organized, and I've never heard of anything troublesome happening there. I feel that West Haven would benefit immensely from a brewery, which is a venue, attraction, destination that draws many people and would be good for our economy, as well as bringing in jobs and income. The location just can't be beat, and it's even prettier than the Stony Creek setting. Having an empty, dilapidated building is a blemish on our beautiful shoreline, and quite honestly, a waste of prime space. The brewery would be a perfect addition to our community, and I would welcome it wholeheartedly. I'm hoping West Haven makes the right decision and votes a wonderful new business in and welcomes them to our community with open arms. I'm okay. How many minutes have I been going? A few? Kim Advent, 485 Kelsey Avenue. As a resident of Kelsey Avenue, I would like to reiterate my and my neighbors' concerns about brewery trucks driving up and down Kelsey Avenue. As direct routes to the beach, we already have enough traffic at top speeds on our roads without adding to more noise and danger to the residents and kids that use the parks that go to the high school. I mean, there's 60 of these, so.
Hold off. I have a few more people to talk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else want to get up and speak with Mr. Mullins?
All right, good evening. The name is Stephen Mullins, 22 Oak Road in Allentown. So since, I'm trying to remember, I don't know if it was 1987 or 1988, the city of West Haven acquired the land that was previously called the Casino Restaurant. And I think prior to that it was some other restaurant. So the land and the building remained stagnant for many years, no activity whatsoever. Eventually, it became the conference center. I'm guessing that was probably around 93, 94, 95, around that time period. And for 25 years or so, it was a great place for weddings and other activities. Unfortunately, we didn't, as a city, didn't make a lot of money on it. So per usual, in traditional West Haven style, we didn't keep the property up. It became in disrepair and shabby and disheveled, and that's just how we operate here. So, as Planning and Zoning Commissioner, I voted in favor of the brewing company, NEPCO. I've been to the NEPCO location in Woodbridge, and I've also been to other breweries in the area. And like that, I've been impressed with what I've seen and the atmosphere. I think and believe that a business of that type will be more than beneficial to Jimmy's, Turk's, Campbell Avenue restaurants, other businesses in West Haven will benefit from it, and jobs to people of all ages in West Haven. However, as a citizen, I could not support NEPCO or any other company business going into that location if they are not paying a sufficient amount when it comes to renting shorefront property. Shorefront property is prime real estate, and there are individuals who are paying a lot more who don't live in shorefront properties. So yes, I would like to see this touristy-like venue, which would be great and it'd benefit everyone in some way or another. But I want them to pay their fair share, and I want the deal, the lease, to benefit city taxpayers. Now, like the city council of the late 1980s, most of whom, including Mayor Guerra, are no longer with us, please keep in mind that your decisions you make, whether it be this evening or another evening, but hopefully it's this evening, please keep in mind that whatever decision you make about this property is going to affect residents and taxpayers of West Haven who are yet to be born. Thank you.
Good evening, Rick Spryer, 53 Magnolia Avenue. I was shocked to see how many real estate professionals we have sitting on the council and in the audience tonight. What are we doing here? These two men have been held hostage for over a year. by this obstructionist council. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. We beg for economic development in this city, and when it shows up, we spit in their eye. Does anyone here remember the city of Milford downtown before Stonebridge was there? I doubt it, because it was nothing. And that's the opportunity we're given here. We've been given a winning lottery ticket, and we're sitting here squabbling over having to pay for it. We're squabbling like children. You all agreed to this lease term in your executive session last week, and to now act like you don't understand the terms of the lease is obstructionist. It's plain and simple. It's nothing but being an obstructionist. And to say for those who say grant money shouldn't be used for the city or for a private developer, that is our tax money. That is our tax money we already paid. Why would you not want that money back in our city? I'm not here. I don't like the fact that people are speaking ill of Shell and Bones. It's a fantastic restaurant. I've been there often, and I think that once we get an economic development coordinator in this city, we'd be happy to bring you in and show you plenty of opportunities that we have in this city. Right now, NEBCO is our focus. NEBCO is our deal, and I think that you'd be doing a disservice to this city, a disservice to your constituents, and frankly, a disservice to yourselves if you do not vote and take action on this and approve this tonight. Thank you.
My name is Rich Standish, born and raised in West Haven, 68 years. I just turned 68. And I have worked half my life at the city of West Haven as the police and fire dispatcher for West Haven, 46 years. I've worked under probably maybe 10 mayors. This is the same bowl that we have to go through for these people. Now, if you gentlemen were here, we were at the Harriet North courtroom, and I said to you, you don't know West Haven. West Haven, nothing's easy for West Haven. But I said, hang in there, because I 110% support you. And I thought, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great for West Haven. And then as this dragged on, and I don't blame these gentlemen for getting pissed off. Thank you for Mr. Maroney. Thank you for Dorinda Boer. Thank you for the city for trying to get this thing going again. Do you realize that half the people that come down to that boardwalk are not even West Haven residents? They would surely come in and have a beer. We've owned that building for years. We bought that building, if everybody knows the history of that building, okay? I know the history of that building. And they're worrying about what we're gonna get for money. Give me a break. We got nothing for years for that building. That building is just falling down. We tried to get into the rental business, and that was a mistake. When it's trying to rent rooms down there for parties and stuff, that was a big mistake. We own the building. This is an ideal situation, and if anybody hasn't gone to a brewery, go. I have. Look at Branford, look at Milford, look at Bridgeport. I've been out of town in New Hampshire. They're ideal. I will surely patronize. The West Haven Police Department, where I work, will patronize. The West Haven Fire Department will patronize. And we have to worry about that bum, Jimmy's, causing a problem once again. And if everybody doesn't know history, I do, in the redevelopment where they sued the city for millions to get where they are today. They do nothing for the city. Their building is ugly and disgusting, and there's nobody ever there. I don't patronize it. You know where I go? I go to Turk's, or I go down to Stowe's. Thank you, Stowe's. That's where I get my seafood. I will never place my foot in that place. And then they post a paper, which is amazing they even paid for it, posted that, oh, we're sorry, we were always for it. You were never for it. You were worried because they got a variance for the sidewalk and you didn't. Well, guess what? Your stupid outdoor patio, nobody ever even goes in there. I go down and walk and nobody's ever out there, good day or bad day. I am sick and tired of this town, and I was pissed at you guys. And there's a lot of my friends on here, personal friends. I was pissed that they were here today arguing again for this brewery when it should have been done and built by now, if not almost done. And you people that didn't vote for it, I ran into a good friend of mine coming in who was a council person, and I told him, I said, you for this? And I said, 110%. I don't care about the money we're paying, what they're paying. Give me a break. For years, we got nothing out of that building. We don't roll out the red carpet. We roll it in. You don't welcome new businesses. That's going to be an ideal situation. I'm telling you right now. In the near future, when I'm going to retire, I will surely be patronizing that place. And I'm sure I'll see some of my friends down there too. People wake up. Who cares about Jimmy's? And I'm sick and tired of land trust on what's going on. Oh, the dodo bird lives over there. You can't build there. Oh, the grass down at Beach Street was a marijuana grass. You can't dig that up to raise the road. Stop this. What is there, 10 people on the land trust? Give me a break. I was for the original plan that they proposed in the Harriet North room where they were going to process the beer. That's what I was for. But if this is the best we can do, then so be it. Because of the bull crap that we have to deal with individual people in this town that don't want anything. They don't. But they don't want to pay high taxes either. This is something that's going to wake that area up down there. I'll guarantee it.
You all set, Rich? You might get a heart attack. I don't want you to get a heart.
Listen, Peter, I took the day off tonight. I'm supposed to be working, but I took the day off to come to this meeting because that's how pissed I am. So I got my point across, and gentlemen, good luck. I appreciate, and you're right. West Haven's not the same anymore, believe me. I know it. I get the calls. Thank you.
Anyone else like to come up? Mayor, would you like to come up, Mayor, and say a few words?
Good evening, council members. I'm very excited to be here, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed because it seems, because I, of course, take notes and I'm counting, because that's what I do, of who's in favor right now and who's not. I, too, have supported this brewery since it came first through City Hall, and I support it today. And I do want to shout out again to Senator James Maroney, who has helped tremendously behind the scenes. We do appreciate you, James, completely. That being said, I've also had, the experience of sitting where all of you sit, and no decision is ever a slam dunk or easy that I saw. I am hoping that all of you listen to what people say, search your own hearts. You know the city. Most of you have, I don't know, I was not born and raised here. I came here in 1981. I do have cemetery plots, though, so I will be here the rest of my life, the way I look at it. But to all of you, I think it's important. Economic development is very important and something we sorely do need. Our shore front is absolutely beautiful, and I would like nothing better than to see this sitting on our shorefront. This beautiful picture of a brewery on a gorgeous day with a beautiful, longest stretch of public beach in the state of Connecticut. I think it's long past time. I hope everybody will vote when the vote, if the vote is called or when the vote is called, to support this. I think it is very, very important. I think while I was counting, the majority of the residents are in favor of it. I know the majority of the residents on Facebook are in favor of it. And I hope the majority of the council is in favor of it. I actually hope it would be unanimous, but that's just my hope and my say. I think it's important, and I think it's time, because we can't just keep, going and going. This has been around now for longer than it should be, and I agree with what Mr. Standish said. It's time, and it is time. So let's get together, do whatever we have to do, roll our sleeves up, but let's get this done. We're Westies, and we can do it. Thank you.
Anybody else like to get up? Anyone?
My name's Rich Hebert. I live at 166 Bloom Street, and got some questions here. I have nothing against NEBCO. I'm glad to see anybody get in there and start their business. But I have a question about the procedure. We get this on-again, off-again stuff. The deal was dead, according to the newspaper. Was there any formal acceptance or any formal quit? You guys have to answer that. That's not up to us. I find that coming in here tonight and that you're going to vote on something that was just issued today is problematic. I don't know. That's in your judgment. Is there going to be a start and stop date according to this process? Is there any guarantees that the building will be up in such and such a date and that business will start on such and such a date? Is any of that in this process? I'm glad that your design here retains the nature of a low structure as for our ocean front. That's very important to us. And there's been a lot of slams here against the land trust. Let me say something about that. If it was your property and somebody was coming on your property for a few feet, would you like that? I think that's an unfair argument. They revised their footprint and that makes everything all right. So that's an invalid argument, and I detest the land trust slams. That protected our shoreline. We would have looked like Atlantic City, where you can't even see the water if things were let to go otherwise. And isn't your process here, the skull and bones would like to come in. I don't know how this all happened, where this is now not an equal opportunity process. Was that, approach closed? Do anybody know about it? I think it's unfair to me as a taxpayer, because I pay a lot of taxes in this town, that we don't get the information until almost after the fact. That's part of your responsibility. It's part of our legal representatives to get that out here. I mean, we went to so many meetings where Lee Tierney said, next week, next week, next week. It never happened. We need to know, as citizens, what the heck is going on? And as far as, the questions of values here, you folks are our representatives. We need to have equal opportunity for everyone. I wish NEBCO the best of luck with their venture here, but I think we as a town has to present a better forum and a better process to get things moving. Our planning and zoning is the next step, because this is not done yet, right? Still has to go before planning and zoning. So vote by your conscience, but be aware that this is not a smooth process, and it should not be that difficult for a business to come in here and do business. Thank you.
Senator Maroney, would you like to come up and say a few words?
I didn't, thank you very much. James Maroney, State Senator, 14th District, 22 Saranac Road in Milford, Connecticut. It's my honor to represent the West Haven shoreline as all part of my district. I didn't intend on speaking tonight, but I just wanted to set the record straight. I think a couple of people thanked me, and I do appreciate their thanks, but nothing happens in the legislature without a team. And I really want to recognize the work of Representative Durinder Boer, who was the co-chair of the bonding committee and was able to help us in securing the funding. Again, I think I've heard conversation as part of the legislature. I am the co-chair of the General Law Committee. The General Law Committee oversees the breweries in the state of Connecticut, and I've seen the impact that they've had throughout the state. I've seen the impact that they've had in Milford as well, where Dockside Brewery has opened, and I know that they have reservations from New York, New Jersey, people coming from all over to come visit the brewery. I'm friends with someone who owns a restaurant nearby Dockside, and he has said since they've opened, he's had his 3 best years ever. And what that means is a rising tide raises all ships. And I see the same happening in West Haven. In Branford, Stony Creek Brewery has over 350,000 visitors a year. Many of them also come from out of state when they check their guest book to visit there. And we have the opportunity to bring the same number, if not more, to the West Haven shoreline, to walk along the waterfront, to see West Haven, to recognize how beautiful it is. And just talking about that waterfront, as I said, I lived in Milford, but the day before my son was born, my wife and I went for a walk, so on April 30th of 2006, and we came to the West Haven shoreline to walk that because it was one of our favorite spaces to walk, driving by the Woodmont, from where we lived in Point Beach to come there and go for a walk. And I think it's something that will bring many more people from throughout the state there. It'll benefit the city. It'll benefit the restaurants who are around there. Another thing I've heard talk about, the lease amount, I think, and the fact that there may be some state incentive money. Most major economic development, there is some form of incentive to do that, especially when it can be a keystone project. But I think what's also being lost is the amount of money that they will be investing into that building, that the city will still own. So they're going to be investing over $4 million of their own money. And another thing to keep in mind is that the length of this project, that money has gotten more expensive. Interest rates have only gone up since they started negotiating. Labor costs have gone up. So they're looking at a more expensive project, but they're still committed to the location. But most importantly, they're still committed to the city. They are a great corporate citizen. Someone mentioned before the Closer to Free ride, over $200,000 every year they raise for Closer to Free. And I have no doubt that they will be raising money for many of the West Haven charities when they come here. So thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Also, on the team theme, with the legislature, I also want to recognize Representative Charlie Ferraro, as well as Representative Trenae McGee. We all work together, and as someone said before, it shouldn't matter what party you're in. We're in different parties, but we all work together for West Haven.
We're going to read a few more letters that we received.
This is from Melanie Russell. Hello, I'd just like to voice my opinion for the prospective brewery. I think it would be a great and much-needed addition to our shoreline. Every community around us is flourishing, and we have managed to let opportunities like this get away from us. I know this won't fix everything, but it is a step in the right direction. Thank you for your time. This is from Marcy Hotchkiss, 53 Kelsey Avenue. Dear City Council members, thank you for the opportunity for West Haven residents to once again voice our questions, comments, and concerns regarding the proposed lease agreement between the city and the developer for a NEPCO tap room on the 6 Rock Street property. All West Haven taxpayers have an investment in this development, and those of us who live in the neighborhood and will be more directly impacted by this type of development that ultimately is approved and are deeply invested. And I believe supportive of a plan to restore and sustain this area of our shoreline with businesses which have been the best opportunity and proven ability to succeed for the long term while building to enhance and beautify this historic section of our city. I appreciate your thorough assessment and thoughtful process in making a decision on an agreement that will impact our struggling city and taxpayers for decades to come. As a resident of 53 Kelsey Avenue, I have written previously of our concerns when NEBCO proposed to build a manufacturing facility to produce and distribute their product. We were very relieved that they revised the plan to eliminate production at this site. It is not the best use of the parcel and could change the nature of future development. I do not have commercial real estate nor legal expertise. However, the proposed lease agreement does not seem to reflect the value of this land. Additionally, it is not clear to me as a resident taxpayer that the developer has actually provided a new site plan. With the architectural drawings, etc., given the prime location of this property, it is crucial that the building and landscape drawings design enhance and reflect the history of our shoreline of Savin Rock. The development must also continue to provide open space to the boardwalk, park, and beaches. West Haven taxpayers should be provided with the opportunity to view plans as well as an explanation of how the lease price was arrived at and how the agreement benefits us. I'm hoping to see and hear this information at the public hearing on 10/17. Recently, reading in the news that the owners of Shell and Bones are interested in developing the property and willing to do so without bonding funds is interesting and, in my opinion, exciting opportunity that should be considered and advanced for more thorough evaluation. I am not firmly opposed to NEBCO locating here and truly support responsible development. My sense is that a business like Shell and Bones offers West Haven the chance to expand our existing great restaurant scene with the upscale destination that draws a wide variety of diverse patrons. These customers have the ability and willingness to pay premium prices for great food, seafood and steaks, and a full range of beverages, top-notch service, and a beautiful location for families, celebrations, business meals, and friends gatherings. Such a business will enable West Haven to showcase our assets to others who may have the interest and resources to further create new business opportunities and improve our resident housing stock throughout the city. This is from Mike Backman, 30 Barbara Lane. I am writing to express my support of New England Brewing Company moving into the old Savin Rock Conference Center. NEBCO is a company with long-standing value in Connecticut. They have been around for over 20 years and have a large following. Their brand is beginning to be recognized nationally, and for West Haven to be the home of New England Brewing Company and their stable of craft beers would be tremendous. New England Brewing Company would be an amazing asset to the West Haven community. At its current location, they have many activities and events that showcase local talents and raise funds for local charities, big and small. NEBCO would be a positive step forward for the city of West Haven. New England Brewing Company is a great craft brewery, and I look forward to patronizing their new location. I am hopeful that this location will be at West Haven with a brewery and tap room to rival Stony Creek and Dockside. This is from Pat Bull Terry. West Haven City Council, while considering the benefits of locating a commercial brewery or retail establishment at the Savin Rock Conference Center, please weigh the potential benefits against the costs to be paid by the residents of West Haven. Those costs could include 1, the relinquishment of prime recreational property and open space to a commercial interest whose footprint may extend into the pedestrian walkway, impeding the ability of people to freely traverse its entirety. 2, the creation of a new norm of increased traffic, congestion, noise, and crowds, as the brewery will have an obligation to put the needs of its retail customers first. 3, unknown consequences of emissions and waste. 4, whether the rent proposed is fair market rate for the scope of the project and its location. 5, taxpayers of Connecticut are asked again to subsidize a private profit-making venture. 6, the brewery is an economic island not able to attract other businesses close by. Please consider these factors before making your decision on this project. This one is from Ron and Judy Tierney, 743 Glendaven Drive. We are West Haven residents who would love to see the New England Brewery Company come to West Haven, in particular to the old Phyllis's restaurant building on the beach. We walk the boardwalk frequently and would love to spend an hour now and then having a beer and a bite overlooking the water there. Although there has been pushback about putting the brewery part of the company on that lot, we wonder if those opposed have been to the Stony Creek Brewery. We have not found it to ruin the riverfront view. The proposed brewery building could be designed to be aesthetically pleasing. Besides giving Westies another pleasant spot to relax in along the beach, the New England Brewery has the potential to bring in some directly needed tax money and some jobs. Yeah, I'm okay. So we received over 60 letters via email through the public legal notice, and I've probably read a little over 20 of them so far.
So I would like to make a motion to call for a vote on passing the
Call for a vote for what? I didn't hear him.
Mitch, say that again?
I would like to make a motion to call for a vote, a roll call vote, pass this motion
Without.
We'll have to make sure we get most of the residents to speak. Could you hold off on your motion?
Okay.
We'll read a couple more letters, and then we'll have a few more people talk. And then go from there. Give everybody a chance. Yes.
Okay. This is from Jeffrey Gordon. Dear Chairman Massaro, the Gagliardi Family Partnership has retained this firm in an adversary capacity for land use planning consideration. In the 1990s, we formerly were consultants to and expert witnesses for the City of West Haven, and we, the West Haven Redevelopment and the West Haven Redevelopment Agency. All of this relates to matters pertaining to parcels along Captain Thomas Boulevard. On behalf of the Gagliardi family and Jimmy's Incorporated, we look to address a number of points respecting to the Conference Center property as well as others along Captain Thomas Boulevard. Jimmy's et al. Were primary entities in the redevelopment plan of the old Savin Rock properties. They have been key players for almost 90 years on various parcels in the corridor. It is their desire to continue in a redefined role moving forward. They are positioned uniquely as a majority stakeholder along the shorefront and wish the opportunity to submit a development plan and a new request for proposal RFP. Integrating the Conference Center parcel along with the Jimmy's property will allow a grand vision more in keeping with that shown in the city's Plan of Conservation and Development, POCD. Piecemeal development is not the best interest of the city and its residents. Litigation in the 1990s demonstrated a series of smaller projects was not the optimal direction to pursue. The delays in implementing the shoreline rezoning proffered the Plan of Conservation and Development have hampered master planning of the Jimmy's Inc. properties. The POCD on pages 79, 80, and 82 promulgated such goals with the Conference Center and Jimmy's Inc. properties being the catalyst and anchor for the corridor. A number of development groups finalizing discussions with Jimmy's have proposed to master plan the buildable properties along the boulevard. This would include the rezoning of the parcels as was the goal of the POCD. It is Jimmy's desire to repurpose and rebrand its product moving into the next generation. This vision would be integrated as part of a greater land use plan moving forward. Restaurants, a tap room, a destination hotel are some of the elements being considered. We look forward to the council issuing a new request for proposal RFP where a grand vision for the area can be openly discussed and vetted. Don't shoot the messenger. Steve Rossi. I am in support of, from 23 Aircraft Road, I am in support of the brewery coming to the conference center. This is a nationally recognized brewery that has picked West Haven. Their beers are consistently chosen as the best in the state. They have successfully operated in Connecticut for over 25 years. They have a well-known history of raising money for charities and giving back to the community. If they are successful in coming to West Haven and help every business in the city by bringing that many more people here, that would be that wouldn't normally come. I hope the council makes the right decision. This is from Carol Eagles, 93 William Street, West Haven. We don't need it. We need a fair offer to put out to bid. Why is this being pushed so hard? It needs an RFP, not politics as usual. Susan Dangle, 52 Harding Ave. Oh, thank you for reminding me. Thank you. This is, I can't see the, so small. I have no idea. I'm not sure. I can't really read who it's from. It says, I don't think the proposal by NEBCO should be voted on until all council members have had a chance to hear from the people of their district. And I really can't tell who that's from. It's an email, but WJez, somebody. I can't tell. And it's so small on the other page. This one is from Richard and Linda Vergoni. We think that this business will add so much to West Haven. We are all for it. This is from Professor Mitch Fillet. I teach during the meeting schedule, but have wanted to express an opinion about this lease for some time. I do not have all of the facts regarding this transaction, and they do not seem to be available through Google search. However, if NEBCO leases a conference center, the noise and traffic factor could be a real problem. My suggestion is fairly simple. The conference center should be expanded in size both up to and to the east. The expanded building could house part of NEBCO, of what NEBCO wants to do, like selling alcoholic beverages to consumers. But it also could be used as a waterside resort with many uses in addition to a room rental. The beverage production part of NEBCO could cause many problems. Large trucks hauling barrels of beer could effectively damage Captain Thomas Boulevard. A possible solution might be to split their operation. The production side goes on into one of the many underutilized commercial buildings in the WHVN. The consumption part of their business could occupy part of the newly renovated and expanded conference center. If you want to discuss this further, please let me know. Okay.
Anybody else like to come up and address the comment? Yes, sir. Not a West Haven resident? Wait, any West Haven resident want to come up and speak? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Bonnie Posick, 107 East Avenue. I'm reading this comment tonight on behalf of Christina and William Howery, residing at 98 Kelsey Avenue. We are very much in support of NEBCO coming to the conference center. Beyond NEBCO specifically, our interests as residents of Kelsey Avenue, with views of the conference center from our front door, is that a thriving business take over that spot as soon as possible to bring much-needed commerce to the shoreline. We are not concerned with increased traffic. In fact, we welcome it because we know it's bringing tax dollars to our beautiful city. The fact that the conference center has sat for so long in such a state of disrepair on a pristine piece of beachfront property is appalling, and we're in favor of any opportunity to immediately tackle that blight, but especially NEBCO with its community connections, established track record of business success, and brand.
Anyone else like to come up and address the council, President? Wait, ma'am?
My name is
Ma'am, hold
Dolores.
on. The lady in the back got pointed out.
My name is Dolores Liebau. I live at 122 Anderson Avenue in West Haven. And I'm glad to see a very different picture up here tonight than was in front of us over a year and a half ago. I'm still a little bit concerned because this picture is actually in two pieces, and I still don't know how it lines up with Savin Rock. So, I didn't know that. Yes, so it looks like this is coming out to the side. So I think it would be good, again, for everybody going forward to know that where the rock is, where Jimmy's is, and just get the full view rather than just the building. Because I thought, looking at that, this is off to the side, and then I said, well, where is the rock? So that was one thing. I'm much happier to see this. I was a bit concerned when, whereas they say they're not changing the footprint, there is no site plan on record. And I thought that was pretty odd, just for any building that was getting, looking for approval on a whole lot of levels, you'd have to have the site plan. So that also would be needed to go with these pictures. And last but not least, there is plans, if you like, for a scaled back brewery to what was initially proposed. However, it was said several times also about the future, and that could be, if allowed, to do more brewing. So I think it's very important for the people that are investing money to know ahead of time what's allowed and not allowed, because I don't think that happened the first time round. They were not made aware of restrictions on the use of the land. And so going forward, if they're expecting to expand and that isn't allowed, it should be much more upfront, I think, by the city council and the people that are trying to do the development. Thank you.
Debbie Evangelista, 36 Richmond Avenue. I've lived in this town for 67 years, and I don't drink beer, but I live a stone's throw from where they proposed to put the brewery. I'm totally in favor of it. I don't think it's going to cause any problems. I think it's going to be a boom for the neighborhood, for all of West Haven. I think it's going to bring a whole bunch of different people from all over, and they'll be spending money in our town, and what could be wrong with that? I welcome you to our neighborhood. I hope you come. I wish you were bringing the whole brewery, but if this is what we have, this is what we have, but maybe eventually you'll do that. But welcome to the neighborhood if you go that far.
Anyone else like to come up? Barry, you want to?
My name is Alex Marathis. I live in Orange. Many of you in the community may remember that my company, the Smyrna Group, was awarded the original RFQ for the community center, which we won by presenting a plan for 2 restaurants and a wedding event facility, which the council enthusiastically approved in December of 2020. You may also remember us because we were accused by the mayor of non-performance and removed from the RFQ process just before the November election. I'm here tonight to set the record straight and disclose what happened behind closed doors. I'm here tonight because I don't believe the NEBCO project should move forward. I am here to state that my position that the Smyrna Group should be reinstated as the recipient of this RFQ process. The City of West Haven began the RFQ process because of the interest from 2 parties who had made inquiries into the city in reference to the community center. I was one of those parties. We were one of the, as a result, the city set up an RFQ process, and several parties made presentations to the Economic Development Council. Of those presentations, the council picked us as we had proposed 2 restaurants and a wedding event facility. We were eager to move forward, and after 2 months of waiting, we still had not received a draft from Lee Tiernan. We began to harry Mr. Tiernan until we finally received an executable contract after waiting for 5 months. The agreement that we received was deficient in several areas with references to sections that didn't exist and missing addendums. However, we had already waited 5 months for the draft, and we did not want to waste more time, so we executed the agreement in mid-April 2021. We immediately commissioned a $25,000 market study in order to better understand the market and also determine how COVID might affect the proposal. To keep the city in the loop, we met with the city once, told them of the study and how long it would take to complete. We assured the city that we would disclose the information upon its receipt. We received the study after 7 weeks and reached out to the city to discuss our study, the overall progress, and lease terms. We sent numerous emails to the mayor and Lee Tiernan asking them for an opportunity to present a proposal and to discuss the market study, but never received any responses from our outreach to the city. We never got this opportunity here at all, and the previous ones, never. Those emails and phone calls are all documented. Not only that, but we never received any correspondence from the city detailing any non-performance issues. Then sometime shortly before the last election, we were surprised to hear in a public meeting that had taken place, the mayor misrepresented us and said that we had not performed, which was not the case. We then received a termination letter in which the mayor again stated that we had included a residential component to our proposal and that we had failed to disclose the market study, both of which are complete misrepresentations. Never gave the opportunity, never called back. I would like to submit that letter and a portion of the letter that we sent to the mayor and delivered on the day of the RFQ. I'd like to submit those to the council in a second. Let me read from that letter. We're responding to Mayor Rossi's letter to the Smyrna Group dated October 28, 2021. In that letter, you indicate that we have not performed and that our proposal includes a residential component. Neither of these is true. Furthermore, we have disappointed that before any indication of non-performance was given to us privately, as expressly detailed under your obligations detailed in the MOU, you publicly announced your dissatisfaction, making our efforts that much harder. And evidently had already engaged in discussions with other parties, expressly prohibited by Section 2, exclusivity. For as long as this MOU remains in full force and effect, the city shall not enter negotiations with any other discussions or any other party concerning development of the property or any part thereof. This in spite of the fact that we had reached out to you on several occasions in order to move this project forward, and you were unresponsive. We have acted in good faith, and we will continue to do so. We simply ask that you accord us the opportunity that you voted for and approved on December 10th, 2020. We are aware that there is a planned vote on other proposals scheduled for this coming Monday, October 22nd. Per the aforementioned letter, you state that we have until February 22nd, 2022 to provide the evidence that this project is moving forward. Any votes to approve or continue negotiations with another company for the conference center before this date would clearly not be acting in good faith and may jeopardize our proposal. Accordingly, we would ask that any vote on the community center be postponed until such time that we can present to the council our findings and our detailed digital rendering of said proposal. As previously disclosed, we engaged an outside consultant to do a market study, and we'll be glad to share the results with the council during our presentation. We have also partnered with a local construction company to develop the proposed project. We request that the council provide us with a date in January 2022 in order to present our plan, the findings of our market study, and to introduce our construction partners. We look forward to your timely response. This letter was sent to everybody on the council at the time, the day of the vote, as well as the mayor and Lee Tiernan. We never got a response from anybody, and nobody in the council ever followed up with us. Nobody. So after this disclosure, I'm hoping that the council does the right thing, stops any more discussion about the brewery on the beach, and reinstates the Smyrna Group to a rightful position as recipient of the RFQ. Any reinstatement would have to be under new administration, and any discussions of lawsuits would go away. The right thing to do is to allow us to present our plan to the public, which we were never allowed to do. You never saw our beautiful plan. 2 restaurants, a wedding event facility, and you guys never saw it because we were ghosted by the mayor. and by Lee Tiernan. That's all I have to say. I hope you do the right thing. I hope you think about this. And give me the opportunity to present my plan. I think you'll be more impressed than what we've seen here thus far. And additionally, lawsuits go away. I reach out to Shell and Bones. I reach out to NEBCO. We have a beautiful, beautiful facility that will impress everybody. And let me tell you, the amount of people that we'll have at that facility in a given year will far outshine anything that a brewery alone can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion on the floor, call for a majority caucus.
We don't really need a motion for that. We don't need a motion. Yeah.
You want to finish?
Good evening, Mayor Rossi and esteemed City Council members. My name is Julie Nash, and I'm the Economic Development Director for the City of Milford. I'm here to express my enthusiastic support for the proposal to allow the New England Brewing Company to occupy 6 Rock Street. This move represents a remarkable opportunity not only for the brewing company, but also for the community and the local economy. Thank you to Senator Maroney and Representative Borer for procuring the funding to move this project forward. The brewing industry has demonstrated its profound economic impact in the state of Connecticut, and this trend is set to continue. As of 2022, the brewing industry has already contributed an impressive $699 million to the state's economy. This figure underscores the significant benefits that can be reaped from welcoming and supporting local breweries such as New England Brewing Company. By allowing NEBCO to establish and invest millions of dollars in West Haven, the city stands to gain numerous advantages. This will not only bring local job opportunities, but also foster a vibrant atmosphere drawing in residents and tourists alike. The brewery will be a focal point for social gatherings, events, and a hub for the craft beer scene in this region. This, in turn, will lead to increased foot traffic in the area, benefiting local businesses and boosting revenue for the city. Beyond the economic impact, breweries often become cherished members of their communities, participating in charitable events, supporting local causes, and creating a sense of togetherness. NEBCO's relocation in West Haven would be a testament to the city's commitment to fostering a vibrant and welcoming community. Milford has experienced the direct and indirect economic benefits of being home to 3 thriving breweries: Tribus Beer Company, Dockside Brewery, and Milford Point Brewing. These establishments have not only brought jobs and revenue to the city, but have also positioned Milford as a destination on Connecticut's Bear Trail. The presence of these breweries has contributed to Milford's reputation as a community that embraces innovation, local business, and the craft beer culture, attracting enthusiasts and tourists from far and wide. I have passionately advocated for this industry in Milford, recognizing the tremendous value it brings to the community. It is evident that the success of Milford's breweries has not only shaped the local economy, but also created a sense of pride for our city. Welcoming NEBCO to West Haven would not only bolster the region's economy, but also further solidify the greater New Haven area as a hub for craft beer and economic prosperity. I urge you to consider the overwhelming economic impact the brewery industry has had on Connecticut and seize this opportunity to further boost the local economy by granting permission for NEBCO to locate at 6 Rock Street. By doing so, you will not only support a thriving business, but also make West Haven a shining example of economic growth, community engagement, and progress. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. I am hopeful that you will make the choice that will benefit not only NEBCO, but also the entire West Haven community. Thank you.
Sorry about that, but what can I do? Oh, you got a gentleman up there.
Hi, my name is Matt Dugan. I live at 14 Ann Street. I'm a little confused. I think I've been really frustrated because when I first heard the news that NEBCO was coming, I got beyond excited. My friends got beyond excited. Craft beer, NEBCO specifically, is known up and down the East Coast. I go to New Hampshire and Vermont, and my friends in Vermont and New Hampshire come here for NEBCO. The fact that they chose West Haven and this has dragged on this long has been incredibly frustrating. I got excited when there was a contract put online, and this was scheduled for tonight. And I'm a little confused because I'm hearing things about process and procedure, and it may be valid, maybe not. I don't really know. I thought we were coming to talk about this contract and maybe vote. So I would say vote yes. I want NEBCO here in my community. I think it would be a boon to the town and certainly replace the empty shell of a building that sits there. I don't have a problem with the rent because what NEBCO gives back to the community more than makes up for what they're maybe not paying in rent. And it is a good use of that parcel that currently the town owns as a landlord. So we really should make a good decision about that land, or else we're just holding land with nothing on it. I say let's vote, and I say yes, let's vote yes. Thank you.
Well, wait a minute, hold on. That gentleman was saying that he had an RFP in. That's why he went up and spoke. He said he had an RFP, and he did not follow through with it. So he came before us, and I don't think we moved on that because of the way he was set up. So he based his conversation on an RFP that he put back in 2021. And Shell and Bones has not put in an RFP in. You know it and I know it. So there's no RFP in. They did not recognize the RFP when we sent it out for the NEBCO. NEBCO was the one that did it. Shell and Bones didn't. They came afterwards, Skip. So that's why I'm not making them speak tonight. NEBCO is still in negotiations. We've been still negotiating. Anybody else like to come up and speak? We got a few more letters we're going to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Is it possible to, have you looked at them all? Is it possible to say which ones are for, which one, how many are for, how many are against, or do we?
I mean, there's,
Okay. If you don't know
I
that,
can't make that decision. That's not a decision for me to make. We put a legal notice in the paper. We asked for people to comment by email if they couldn't come. And we got over 60 emails. That I can't make that decision.
If we don't read them, we're going to be in trouble. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm doing it as fast as I can. Michael LaCroix, 58 Thomas Street in West Haven. Hello, having the New England Brewing Company come to West Haven at this address is nothing but a win-win situation. It would remove or fix the dilapidated building and add tax revenue and bring in a good business for the residents of West Haven to enjoy. I see no downside to this. I hope to make it to the public hearing. Paul Frozelone, 19 Bloom Street, to the West Haven City Council and to the residents of West Haven. I am confused why there is a public hearing when the memorandum of understanding that was signed between the City of West Haven and the Eclipse Development Group has expired as of April 13th, 2023, and there was no extension signed. I was the first to bring this to the matter of our City Council as I had my letter read during the public comment this past meeting on October 10th. Chairman Massaro stated that NEBCO has spent a lot of money on this proposal and that we need to continue negotiating the land lease under good faith. Residents of West Haven wake up after all that the Rossi administration has put us through with their mismanagement of the federal funds and our tax dollars. The last thing that we should allow is the mismanagement for them to negotiate any contract under good faith. This land lease is way under market value with comparison to other land leases. both in West Haven and our surrounding towns. I am also against moving our boardwalk in front of the Savin Rock Convention Center when the city has turned down other developments like this in the past. I am not against the brewery coming to West Haven. I'm against the location. This project would best suit our city by developing on the corner of Elm Street and Water Street, which is direct waterfront property. We need development at the conference center, but we need the development to have a positive impact on the area. The letter of intent from the very successful New Haven restaurant Shell and Bones is a better offer than that from Doug Gray, AKA Eclipse Development Group, and/or AKA Rock Brewery LLC. The lease proposal is $100,000 a year for the first 10 years with a 10% increase after 10 years. They will invest $4 to $5 million of their own money, non-taxpayer funds, into the property as well. Our taxes should not be funding this property for a private entity. The owners of Shell and Bones have brought forth a much better deal for the West Haven residents, definitely a more fair and equitable lease than with the developer who will then sublet the property to NEPCO. We have no guarantee that NEPCO will even stay as his sublet tenant. This lease will affect our children and grandchildren for generations. Do not strap our generations to come with this lowball offer of a lease. In addition, it is not right to put pressure on our city council to approve a lease when the original RFP, Doug Gray, submitted it 2 years ago, and now it's something entirely else. We cannot expect the council to vote on something that was not given even the original plan that was approved by the previous council. That makes entirely no sense. It should be sent back to RFP to be ethically fair to our residents so we can see who else has interest in the property. Obviously, we now know that the property was not marketed well at all by this current administration. Let the next administration come in and market the property with transparency to our residents. This is the best location in West Haven, our gem. Do not give it away for pennies on the dollar. Send it back to RFP so we can see who has the highest and best offer, as well as who will help our local economy by sparking growth by our stagnant shoreline. Thank you for your time and consideration. Nancy Silbreth, Woodland Street. I am sending this email to voice my support for New England Beverage Brewing Company relocating to the former Savin Rock Conference Center. NEPCO would be an amazing addition to West Haven, and in that location, they would quickly become a destination for locals and out-of-towners. One of my visits to NEPCO, I met a man and his wife who had driven down from Massachusetts for a day to visit NEPCO and buy a few cases of their favorite craft beers. NEPCO is a growing business with over 20 years of proven success. Not only are they a respected name within the craft beer industry, they are amazing supporters of their community. Their community support can be seen in everything from the founding of an African-American Brewers Scholarship to their support of the New Haven St. Patrick's Day Parade. Their women focuses artisan events, She Shines, and the monthly displays of art in their tap room for local artists. I think one of their biggest impacts on the community can be seen in their support of the Closer to Free ride to benefit Smilo Cancer Hospital and Yale Cancer Center. Year after year, Team Craft Beer is on the top of the leaderboard with their fundraising for the Closer to Free ride, and it seems like the team gets bigger and bigger each year. West Haven is known for Westies supporting Westies. NEPCO would fit right in as members of our community. Thank you for your time. This is from Nicholas Wojnowski, head of the women's soccer coach at Albertus Magnus College. My wife and I are lifelong residents, both grew up here, moved away for a bit, and then bought a house here in 2018. We came back to West Haven because we believed it was a great place to raise our 2 young kids. Part of that is being in a place that has diversity, good schools, a thriving culture, and a brand, and a progressive outlook on growth. West Haven is checking some boxes, but not all. We email you all in support of NEPCO moving its entire operation to West Haven and at the Savin Rock Conference Center. I understand the plan has been scaled back, but I would have been in favor of the full brewery and bottling center. Adding NEPCO's, which has over a 20-year history, is just part of a plan to elevate this city. I assume there are projects in the works for the old Captain's Galley spot, the Debonair, Campbell Avenue. Let it be the start of something exciting. Let this be something people from other towns say, let's get lunch at Riptide and then go to NEPCO. Let's stop getting in our own way. I would also ask that NEPCO to name one of their next beers after Savin Rock or West Haven or something. Let's try harder. And they're from 139 Lake Avenue. This is from Brian Pierce, 46 Honor Road. I am writing to express my support of New England Brewing Company moving into the old Savin Rock Conference Center. Reaching an agreement with NEBCO to come to West Haven will send the messages to West Haven that West Haven is friendly and welcoming to businesses. NEBCO is a company with long-standing value in Connecticut. They have been around for over 20 years and have a large following. Their presence will bring in new patrons to the surrounding West Haven businesses. I urge the town of West Haven to negotiate an outcome that is beneficial for both parties. In relocating to West Haven over 3 years ago, it was apparent that the city was in need of businesses, and in particular, that part of West Haven. In certain situations, compromises need to be made in order to begin a transformation to a town or city. In reading posts and articles, it appears that there was a financial concern with regard to the amount of money being paid for rent. While I understand that the town or city does not want to get taken advantage of, at this point in time, the revenue from NEBCO would be significantly more than what is being brought in there now for that location. NEBCO is a great company, and I look forward to patronizing their new location. I hope the council will come to an agreement in an expedient manner to move the city of West Haven forward. This is from Heather Tingley. My name is Heather, and I live on 3rd Avenue in West Haven. I strongly support NEBCO moving to West Haven, and I hope the council approves the lease as soon as possible. As part of the younger generation that grew up in the city, it is so hard to understand why the spaces by the beach aren't utilized. Younger people will continue to move away from the city without more to do. The West Haven Beach is a place I can carry in my heart. Anything to bring people to it will go unnoticed. Thank you for your time. Carlos Torres. My name is Carlos Torres, and my address is 158 Bull Hill Lane, West Haven. I strongly support NEBCO moving to West Haven, and I hope the council approves the leases as soon as possible. Thank you. This is from Denise Calabrese. This is what West Haven needs. That building is a disaster, and what a wonderful place for it right on the boardwalk. Nancy Casella, 17 Baldwin Street. Good morning. I am writing to ask for your support in bringing NEBCO to West Haven at the site of the Savin Rock Conference Center. I hope and pray that this is the start of a positive tax base of business interested in calling West Haven home. Thank you. Tricia Cushing, 200 Brown Street. Let's rebuild the West Haven boardwalk, bring back the residents, neighboring communities, and tourists. Look at what Stony Creek Brewery has done for Branford. It is a destination, lots of visitors, nonprofit fundraisers and benefit functions, weddings, gatherings. Personally, Saturday, leaving a hockey game at Bennett Rink rather than getting on Sawmill Road, I took a drive from the Rock to Chicks. Aside from the major construction stopping the scenic drive, forcing me to drive through a rather lovely neighborhood, including a home with a police car stationed outside, then back along the water at 2nd Avenue, only to see everything torn down. West Haven should be embarrassed. Your waterfront from Washington Avenue to Elm Street looks like a war zone. Embarrassing and so sad. Richard Macon, 200 Elm Street, number 207. I am a Connecticut native, born and raised in Norwalk. I moved to West Haven over a year ago. I specifically chose to live in West Haven because of the neighborhood feel, the train station, and especially the beach. Bearing any negative information about New England brewing I don't know about, I would love to have a New England brewing location in West Haven. Unfortunately, I'm unable to make the meeting on Tuesday due to existing family plans. Please feel free to reach out with any other questions. Ray Lucibello, 18 Linden Street. The city desperately needs change. The obstruction by Jimmy's and Land Trust needs to end. I wholeheartedly support NEBCO on its efforts to revitalize our shoreline. We must take action to remove the Land Trust as well. It is a constant impediment to any worthwhile development on our shoreline. Todd Ligas, Blue Cord Woodcraft, 31 Atwood. The brewery is exactly what this town needs. We need to step into the future, just like places like Dive Bar, West Haven, or even better, like Dockside Brewery in Milford. Stop living in the past. Let's move forward. Carl Smullen, 32 West Walk. Support the brewery moving to West Haven. Ray Barbesi. I am a lifelong resident. As many of you are aware, we all remember the days when West Haven was thriving along our shorefront with restaurants and activities that brought people and revenues to our once great gem of a city. For the most part, during the last 2 to 3 decades, we seem to miss the boat or fumble the ball at the goal line on any opportunities to develop a strong base to thrive in a prosperous and more desirable place to live, work, and run a business. There have never been a more opportune time for West Haven to ignite revenue from our beautiful shorefront and become a desirable and prosperous once again. If we don't act on this opportunity with New England Brewing Company, we'll miss another boat and continue to struggle. We will again be in the news for all the wrong reasons. We have so much to offer right at our fingertips, and now is the time to act on. This will only pique more interest and likely draw in more businesses and revenues. There is new development happening now along our North Shore, and it must continue. We have to keep the ball rolling while the interests and fundings are available to us. I really hope we are all on the same page for all the right reasons. Let's get this done and move forward so we can enjoy all that we have to offer. Best wishes to you all. Nadine McKeon. I'm unable to attend Tuesday's meeting. I'm a longtime voting citizen of West Haven. I feel strongly about this and want to be heard. I am for the brewery. We deserve it. Laura Distilio. I am in support of the brewery. West Haven desperately needs this on 15 Baldwin Street. Marilyn Darcy. I am a lifelong resident of West Haven, and I am in favor of the brewery at the location where the Savin Rock Conference Center is located. I am unable to attend the meeting on Tuesday, but I want my wishes known. Thank you. Krista Demetrio, 29 Beatrice Drive. I support the proposal of the brewery coming to the shoreline in West Haven. We definitely need something like this to help boost our shoreline. This would bring in the people and boost our city's economy. We need to start populating our beautiful coastline with places that will help our town. It would be a terrible shame to see this space continue to be unused. Andrew Willett, I am for the brewery and tap room. We need growth and tourism in West Haven. Robert Hemming, I fully support NEBCO coming to West Haven as a brewery or tap room. Yvonne Tossetti, my husband and I are in favor of NEBCO coming to West Haven. This is a huge positive move for West Haven for a multitude of reasons. Economic development, a reason for people to come to West Haven and not only visit the brewery, but patronize our local restaurants. Is a chance for West Haven residents to have its own brewery and not to have to go to Milford or Branford or every other town or city. West Haven needs this to put us back on the market, a new beginning and a stepping stone to rebuilding the city to what we all know it could be. NEBCO is a good thing and should be supported by all. Uh, 15 maybe? Sorry.
They got a right to be heard. We asked them to send them in, so.
I don't know what to do.
Go ahead.
Just keep reading. Want to continue?
Yeah, you continue reading.
All right, I'm sorry. Emily Turbert. My name is Emily Turbert. I was born and raised in West Haven, Connecticut. I am now a West Haven homeowner with property mere steps from the conference center. As a concerned citizen with the desire to see this area of West Haven thrive, I had to voice my absolute support for NEBCO to bring their facility and customers to our town. My husband and I love local breweries and the endless possibilities these businesses can bring to the economy of the towns in which they reside. NEBCO can bring the community together in these post-COVID times with music, food trucks, and celebrations. As we all learned during COVID, life is precious and deserves to be celebrated. If NEBCO had their facility in our town, it would enable their customers to hold their celebratory events such as showers, weddings, as well as places to gather and enjoy all the amazing things that this town has the ability to offer. I hope the letters being read tonight and the voices of West Haven residents and supporters really drives home how many people are truly interested in seeing a prosperous future for our beneficial coastline town. As a lifelong resident, I implore you to consider my words and kindly support NEBCO moving to West Haven. Again, the town of West Haven and its residents deserve this opportunity for growth and improvement. Thank you for your time and consideration. Joanne Connor. As a lifelong resident, I want to go on record to state that I am in favor of New England Brewing Company coming to the Conference Center property. The brewery would be a gathering place for everyone that will bring in people from the surrounding towns as well. NEBCO is a wonderful community-minded company that we would be lucky to have in West Haven. Often people confuse a brewery with a bar. I think this is where the opposition comes in, not just understanding the differences. And I would ask anyone against the idea, what do you think we are going to get to come there? A hotel or condos? Is that what we really want? The New England Brewing Company would be a total asset to our community, and I hope they make the move to West Haven. Maureen Stilarzi, 158 West Walk. Please approve the brewery to be built in West Haven. We need new, strong businesses to want to come to our town to attract more businesses and bring people to our town. Enough of the naysayers. Carol Smullen, please support the brewery coming to West Haven. This is from Kenneth and Victoria Hulse. We are writing to express our strong support of NEBCO to be built in the place of the Savin Rock Conference Center. We strongly believe that this brewery would be a valuable asset to our community and would bring in many benefits to our residents and visitors alike. First and foremost, a new brewery would create jobs and boost the local economy by increasing foot traffic to the area. Additionally, the brewery would need to hire staff, which would create a ripple effect of economic activity throughout the community. We have a lovely boardwalk and beach, but the current condition of the Savin Rock Conference Center certainly doesn't enhance its charm. It's been an eyesore for years, and it's wonderful that NEBCO has taken an interest in the property in West Haven, being that they have many other choices to relocate to. Second, NEBCO would be a great place for people to gather and socialize. It would provide a relaxed and welcoming atmosphere where people could enjoy and could enjoy a cold beer in each other's company. This would be a great addition to our community, which could use more places for people to come together. Third, a new brewery would be a tourist attraction. People from all over the country are interested in trying new and different beers, and a new brewery in West Haven would give them another reason to visit our city. This would boost our tourism industry and help generate revenue for our local businesses. It is time to rejuvenate our community by welcoming a well-known, successful, and reputable business to this area. I urge you to approve the plan for the NEBCO and for them to relocate to West Haven. I believe it would be a great asset to our community and would bring many benefits to our residents and visitors alike. This process has already taken far too long, and frankly, our community has lost money due to the court battles and constant delays. The voters of the city demand better from our city council members. I think that's a duplicate from Todd Ligas. Kevin Maltese, we strongly support the New England Brewing Company moving to West Haven. They would be a great asset to the city and the local businesses around them. My wife and I have been going to this brewery for years. We found out about the move to West Haven, and we asked the workers what they thought, and they were excited about it and thought it would be a great place to be. We need businesses like this. Sean Conlon, 484 First Avenue. I am a West Haven resident writing to you today to express my support for the NEBCO project. The brewery will definitely be a big step in the right direction in regards to economic and community development, something that the city of West Haven desperately needs. This is from Rich Fowler. Hello, my name is Rich Fowler, 410 3rd Avenue, and I'm writing to you in complete support of NEBCO coming to West Haven. Opening a brewery at the old Savin Rock Conference Center is a good thing for the city. Breweries have become destinations and are now all over Connecticut and the country. The residents of West Haven have been eager to support something substantial in the city that will contribute to the economic development, and now we have it. We should not fumble this and let this wonderful opportunity slip through our fingers. We have a second chance to bring something really great to our community that will attract people from all over the state and help bolster West Haven restaurants and businesses. I frequent a Milford restaurant, which is directly across the street from the popular Dockside Brewery. The manager told me their business has been tenfold since the brewery opened, so why can't our local businesses share the same wealth? We have to be forward thinkers when it comes to this and recognize the significant advantage having a brewery will bring to the people in the city. NEPCO is a nationally known company that is committed to the communities they do business in. West Haven will benefit from the additional community involvement that they will bring. Please consider this for the entire West Haven community. My goal is to see West Haven prosper, and hopefully this will be the beginning of continued economic development for this city. Thank you for your time. Jennifer Byhuri. My husband and I have been residents for 20 years, and I fully support the brewery. We need businesses to attract people who will help support the town. The burden has been on the taxpayers for so long, and we need to create a plan to develop our town. This town should have a stable planning committee to seek businesses to gain more tax revenue. We need to put aside our differences and start planning for the future. Kathleen Buckheit, 56 Magnolia. I just needed a little bit of a drink before this one's long. This one's long. Give me a minute. Okay. My name is Kathleen Buckheit. I'm writing to you as a 9th District City of West Haven resident to express to you and the council at large to state that I am in favor of the New England Brewing Company's move to 6 Rock Street, West Haven, Connecticut. NEPCO, as the business is commonly referred to, will tremendously support and increase our city's business structure and economic development, all while enhancing our shoreline. I know there has been much discussion from the residents, each sharing their own perspective on the subject. Not only will NEPCO put West Haven on the map as a sought-after destination location, helping to further develop our city's economic growth and overall curb appeal, NEPCO is a business that truly cares about and supports the community in a variety of ways. I think that many people don't realize its significant amount of charitable work and donations this small Connecticut-owned business provides to the people of the greater New Haven County at large, simply because they care about our residents. Each year, they participate and fundraise thousands of dollars for the Smilo Closer to Free ride. Team Craft Beer already has raised over $186,500 in support of cancer research, as evidenced on the Ride to Closer to Free website. NEPCO has their own employee-led equality committee that addresses inequities and underrepresentation of Black people in the craft beer industry, and they provide a special scholarship in partnership with Sacred Heart University's Brewing Science Program. Please refer to the video link below to learn more about this unique scholarship program. NEPCO has also partnered with the New Hallville Community Action Network. They are also corporate sponsors of the Greater New Haven St. Patrick's Day Parade, which is a nonprofit 501c3 organization, and they are continuously running community events at their facility where they feature local artists, female-led businesses, and local entertainment. As a lifelong resident, one who bleeds blue, I cannot think of another business that would embody our true Westie nature, more fit and so well within our kind-hearted community. Not every business uses their platform in such a way to reach and support members of their extended community, and yet here is one that wants to join ours. I urge you, our fellow councilmen and the residents of West Haven, to fight for and embrace the New England Brewing Company as a new business that will help support the future of our beloved city. Please feel free to contact me, and I would love to discuss the matter further. Thank you for your time. This is from Stephanie Forgess. Strongly in favor of NEPCO joining our waterfront community at the Old Convention Center. We are a dual-income family working in the healthcare, just starting our family. We own a condo on the boardwalk. We have previously lived in Milford and Westville. In the next 2 years, we plan to buy a house in our forever town where we will raise our family. Currently looking in the West Haven, Milford, and Orange, and Woodbridge, and Westville bubble, looking for a town that offers a strong sense of community and ample services, enrichments, restaurants, etc. We love West Haven and our family time at the beach, but at present, a beautiful shoreline is all West Haven has to offer. I lived in Westville at a time when NEPCO was just starting. I've watched the business grow over the last two decades and size up their facilities. NEPCO offers great events for the community, including arcade nights, food truck events, trivia nights, and my favorite, Final Friday, where every final Friday of the month they have live music. Not only is NEPCO successful, thriving, growing local business, but everyone who goes to NEPCO is family. There is a strong sense of community there between the people who work and patronize the brewery. I strongly believe that the addition of NEPCO to our boardwalk will help enrich our neighborhood, grow our sense of community, as well will encourage other businesses to move in. Thank you for your consideration. This is from Shannon Hemming. I fully support NEPCO coming to West Haven as a brewery or tap house. Deborah McLennan, we are requesting a clear understanding of who is involved to make these decisions to better our town with a new venture that will bring people and money into our town. You don't have to like breweries, you don't have to like beer. Most of the breweries in Connecticut are family friendly. They close at 9 p.m. They pretty much run on their own. I'm hoping you put some understanding with the Gagliardi family and the Disgusting Jimmy's restaurant. How can one man or family run this town? Peter and Kathy Lombardozzi, 74 Leach Street. As a citizen of West Haven, Westie for over 30 years, I have witnessed the deterioration of the town. The Havens is a slum, unsightly and going nowhere. The center is blight, abandoned storefronts, and not appealing at all. My family and friends, social circle, and all are in agreement and support the lease agreement and support NEPCO Brewery at 6 Rock Street. We are unable to attend, so please add this support letter in the hearing, meeting, notes, docs, etc. Thank you. The end.
First, I'd like to thank everybody for being patient to listen to all these letters, which the first one is just as important as the last one. And I really, really thank you all for your patience. Is there anybody else like to come up and address the council? Is there anybody else? Yes, you may.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mike, I have a question for you since you're sitting there. So I started this evening very optimistic, and I'm going to address the elephant in the room. The gentleman that spoke from Orange, in all honesty, took a little bit of air out of the room. And I'm sitting here now feeling cautious. I want to know what is going through your mind because I'm currently having deja vu of the ghost of process past. Can you elaborate on that, please?
I am not familiar with whatever the Orange gentleman's application was. It predates my involvement with the city of West Haven. What I know is that you are here tonight to properly consider this application and this application alone. All the information's been provided. You're allowed to vote on it. You can vote however you want. But there should be nothing right now that I know of that should prevent you from voting on this application if you choose to tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Gelsamine Deneen, better known as Babe Deneen, and that's exactly what I was going to bring up about the, I was appalled at hearing what he had to say, that he had put in bids for 2 restaurants and a wedding chapel, which would have been great for the city. But evidently, I don't know if any of you were on that panel at the time, but if you were, nobody ever got back to him. And now you're bringing in someone that had walked out on a contract and his contract expired, and you're bringing him back again, which is okay. I'm not a drinker, but I have nothing against having the beer. But what are you going to do about that situation? Are you going to just let that fly away? I think you should, if you have to vote, I would say vote no tonight and take up the consideration what he said with the three people that have applied for that, settle something, say something about it. But I think you should address it. And that's all I have to say.
Anyone else like to come up?
Hi, I'm Jennifer Tavella, 74 West Walk. I don't understand why we're talking about something that happened past. I don't even know how many of you were involved in the man from Orange's proposals and what he wanted to do and what he proposed and the wedding chapel and this and that and the other thing. It didn't happen. And now here we are again with a dilapidated building that sits on our boardwalk for a decade that no one's done anything with. We have an actual opportunity to bring revenue to our shoreline. We are the biggest parcel of shoreline property in the state of Connecticut. I don't understand how this has gone on this long and it's a fight. Why can't we just do something? And I'm sorry it doesn't appeal to everyone. Guess what? None of you appeal to anyone. I'm not everyone's cup of tea either. But I will tell you this. I want better for West Haven. We all want better for West Haven. So why not try a brewery? And if it doesn't work, shame on all of us. You read 60 letters, Stacy. You had 3 that were against it. That speaks volumes for the people of West Haven. It has to happen. We have to move forward. I don't know how that's going to happen, but this is a great step in the right direction to build up our shoreline, which we need. It's not about the Gagliardis. It's not about Jimmy's. We don't have to talk about that. What we need is something new, something to invigorate our revenue and our economic development. We talk about all these things all the time. We need to do something. And if this isn't the right thing, so be it. Why not try it? We didn't do much at the Havens, and that's nobody's fault. It's a lot of people's fault. I'm not saying that. But if we don't do something, we're going to continue to spiral in what is going on today. This is not what West Haven's about. I've lived here for 50 years. My family has owned a business here for 70 years. I guarantee you, this is not what we need to fight about. We have bigger fish to fry in this town. We all know. We watch the news. So, let's do it. It doesn't have to be a fight. We can all just do something. And if we're wrong, shame on us. But why are we not trying? Why are we not doing this? So we can have another dilapidated building next to Savin Rock, which is our founding, this is the whole reason this town's here. It's mind-boggling. I don't understand it. Make this happen. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, Council.
So I just want to say something really quick. Attorney, can you just speak to, because I understand the MOU, and I know when we met last week, I equated it to the MOU, it expired, but we were still doing business in good faith with NEPCO.
There were ongoing negotiations that have been continued throughout the process. NEPCO has been involved. They've continued to invest financially in this. They've continued to proceed through the process. That has never stopped at all.
So that good faith process, the MOU, even though it expired, we never stopped. So
Never stopped negotiating.
And we never put out another RFP or any other type of inquiry.
Absolutely. That is correct.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
The way I look at it, with the gentleman that came up, it's been almost 2 years that we've been trying to do this with NEPCO. We have, if he, We've not heard from him, and we've had other public sessions. I just don't think, we have publicly moved past this. I mean, there's negotiations, there were additional RFPs, like, nobody ever came as it was brought to us tonight. So I myself don't feel an obligation of any kind.
As of right now, I don't know of any either. And this is a special meeting that was set up for this issue alone. No other issue. If the gentleman has some sort of an issue with the way he was dealt with, this is absolutely not the forum to start to bring it up in.
Okay. That's all that I got, except that I have 62 yeses, 8 nos, and 9 passives.
You all set? Councilman Dunaway?
Thank you, Chairman. Karen, if you wouldn't mind coming up, I have one question that a resident brought up that I wanted to ask before. If this passes, is there a time that they're going to start? And how long is that time from?
Yes, so under the lease, they have 180 days to present their plans as approved by zoning to the city for the city's review and approval. And they have 12 months to open.
Okay, and if they don't do that, it's a default, and then,
It's a default, and there is a right of reverter where the city can come back in and take the property back.
and I'm sure with the investment they have, they're not going to probably wait. Thank you.
Can we do a roll call vote for the approval of the NEPCO lease?
I second that.
Take the roll call. All in favor? All in favor for the roll call vote? Pardon?
Roll call vote, please.
That's what I'm asking for. All in favor for it?
You gotta go one by one.
Are we making a motion to take a roll
We
call
don't,
vote?
we need discussion. We can do a roll call vote. I don't need anyone's approval for that, but we could do discussion. Does anyone have discussion? Otherwise, we'd need to do the roll call vote.
Can I just clarify on the process? You need to move, you need to have the motion presented, seconded, and then
I'm waiting for a
discuss
motion.
it.
I'm
And then
presenting
discuss it.
A motion, I did. Oh, go ahead.
Do I hear a
Stacy.
second?
Because we have a resolution that would need to be, so it's the, I have a question. It would be what was prepared, the resolution, correct? Would have to be read?
There is a proposed resolution. You're not wedded to that language. That's a proposed resolution. But you could pass a resolution, your own language, if you choose to do so.
You take a roll call vote for it.
Okay, I'm making a motion to read that. I don't know I don't understand what we have to
the roll
do.
call vote
Was
first,
my
then the
motion
rest.
out of line because you need to tell me what we need to? Oh, so my motion is good?
Your motion to
Approve the lease.
to approve the lease, you just need a second, then you can discuss.
We
it.
got a second.
And then when you're done
Yes, so we got the
discussing it, call
second.
for a
We're
vote.
looking to discuss. So I was correct. Thank you so much.
We got a second on it. All in
So
favor?
who made the motion?
Bridget,
Bridget made the motion. Who seconded it?
Gary. Take the roll call vote now.
Are you not having discussion? No discussion?
You want this?
Could you read the resolution into the record and then we'll have discussion?
That's what I wanted to do. Resolution, whereas the City of West Haven used the RFP process to seek and identify appropriate developers for the city-owned property known as Parcel L or 6 Rock Street, subject parcel. Whereas a private developer known as Rock Street Brewery, LLC, responded to the RFP and desires to invest in a long-term brewery operation. Whereas the City of West Haven desires to return this parcel to the city tax rolls in addition to receiving monthly rent for the use of the subject parcel. Whereas the City of West Haven desires to enter into a long-term triple net ground lease with Rock Street Brewery to accomplish the goals set forth for the above. Resolved that the City Council of the City of West Haven hereby approves the resolution of the ground lease by and between the City of West Haven and Rock Street Brewery LLC for 6 Rock Street, West Haven, Connecticut, as presented. That motion is on the floor, made by Councilwoman Hosky, seconded by Councilman Donovan.
I couldn't hear you way over here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say that, some of this does seem like it's been a long process. And I don't even think it was this council, but we not too long ago, and time was quickly approved unanimously, Rock Street Brewery to have a manufacturing operation, right? So this council did approve that. We know what happened. It went into appeal, time dragged on, and Rock Street Brewery with NEBCO came back and offered us something that was compliant with zoning. Same footprint of the building, boardwalk stays the same, parking stays the same. That's what they brought to us, I believe, in June. I was one of them that didn't like the terms of the contract. I thought the price was too low, and I wanted to make sure that NEBCO was included in the lease, because I personally would want to vote to see NEBCO there, not any other particular entity or business entity, but NEBCO. So now that contract has come back to us. The lease cost has increased. NEBCO is in the contract. And I'm trying, sometimes we chase the perfect deal and we never find it, right? Is the deal perfect? Probably not. But right now, we have a building that's in disrepair, sitting on the shoreline. And this group is going to come in and invest $3 or $4 million into that building, our building, not their building, our building. They're going to maintain it. They're going to pay for all the insurance. They're going to pay for the utilities. And they're going to pay us along the way to do that. And at the end of the term, at the end of the lease, we get a building and a parcel that's significantly improved from what it is today. For all those reasons, I'm going to support the NEBCO lease this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, I want to thank Rock Street Brewery, NEBCO, the lawyers, the mayor, senator, state representatives, but mainly the public. Thank you for coming out and voicing your opinion, either in person or by email, for or against it. As most of you know, I have been forward towards this brewery from the get-go. In a way, I'm glad we didn't in the beginning, because we actually ended up with a better deal, I feel. So I believe that I will, if I can vote 1,000 times, I would, but I only get one vote, but I will be voting for this tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just want to say first, thank you to everybody being here. I know it was a long night. It's been a long time for this. I want to thank NEBCO for being here. I also want to thank Shell and Bones to be here, take their time to be here. Hopefully one day we get to work with you guys also and do something positive. But the people have spoken, and I just want to say thank you, because you are why we do what we do. It's one of the hardest things I've done right now to sit here, I think also with a lot of the council, but we appreciate you, and we're here to serve the public, so thank you.
So I'd just like to say Councilwoman Hosky has a different count than I do, but I have 69 yeses, I have 10 noes, and I have 9 kind of maybes, sort of maybes. So I think that the people have spoken, like Councilman Boris said. I just have to reiterate that I don't like the process. I don't like the fact that some things were left unsaid. I don't like the fact that, for instance, our procurement directors called us obstructionists because we are of a different party, or I'm from a different party. I always work with my colleagues. I just feel like this was sort of a last-minute push, and I've kind of felt a little bit uneasy, I would say. So the people have spoken. I only know of one other no that didn't speak tonight, so the people have spoken. I want to say thank you to NEBCO for coming and Shell and Bones. Just a little secret, maybe you should contact Jimmy's.
I just want to say it's been a very long day and I'm exhausted, but I still have enough energy left to know that we need to do something, so I'm voting yes.
Anyone else? I have something to say. For once. It's been a long 2 years dealing. I've heard a lot of RFPs. A lot of people came to this property, wanted to do different things. A lot of things didn't work. Some people want to do motels, and we know where motels ended up. Look at the Debonair. To me, that wasn't a good idea. The brewery came on the last RFP, and we've been working hard, and I've been hearing it for 2 years. I'm up to here with it. I went to a couple of cities traveling this year. I went to one city in South Carolina, which I never knew, a small city, 21 breweries in one city. Everyone was busy, and it was a Wednesday during the day. So if West Haven can't get a brewery to be busy every day, then we got a problem here. This town or this city, and all the years I've been living here, don't have a vision for the future. Wake up, West Haven. Let's get a vision. If people want to come in here, open the door a little bit, help them out on both ends, public end, government end. I'm not saying it's all your fault. It's part of the council's fault. It's part of the administration's fault, what goes on. Open your eyes. See what you could do. Everybody's complaining about taxes. Yeah, so am I. Bring economic development here, taxes go down. And then also, watch who you vote for. If you don't watch what you're doing and check things out, that's where you people are hurting your pockets. You have to wake up. Watch what's going on. This is an opportunity, maybe we'll get some money in here. Not only bring people here, but also spend money in other places. Apps, jetties, all of them. Shell and Bones, doors are open. If you want to come in anytime, come again. We won't throw you out. But listen, I didn't want to hurt your feelings, but the RFP was, you weren't on it. I didn't want to hurt your feelings. If you were on the RFP, you would have spoke. I would have loved to have you speak. But if something comes up and we have property here to give you, you're more than welcome. I won't be here, but the next administration will be. Arms are open here in West Haven. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm for this 100% to get this city moving, to go forward. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Wait a minute, I got this here.
We have to start somewhere in the city. We want West Haven to be better. I want my residents to stay. And I truly believe that NEBCO is a great way into starting a future with great economic development. Thank you.
Who want to speak to me? Mitch?
No, listen, and anybody who knows me, I've been for this thing since 2020. So, yeah, I am full support of this, and thank you, everybody, for coming out. I had a large vote, too. I must have missed votes because everybody got 60. I only had 56 yeses and 17 noes. So, but yes, I am full support of this.
Well, I'm not going to be the only one not to speak, so I say let's get this flame started. I think that it'll ignite a great city. I'm a yes.
Any more discussion? Take a roll call vote.
Okey-dokey. Councilman Gary Donovan,
Let me think about this. Yes.
Councilwoman Colleen O'Connor,
Yes.
Councilman Ronald Quagliani,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bridget Hosky, Councilwoman Melly Garthwaite,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sarah Akbarelli,
Yes.
Councilman Mitchell Galagnano,
I believe I'm number 7, and I say yes. That's an automatic pass.
Councilwoman Robin Wah Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilman Victor Boris,
Yes.
Councilman Robert Bruno,
Yes.
Councilman Stephen Johnstone,
To shock everyone in the room, yes.
Chairman Peter Massaro.
After 2 years, yes.
And that has been unanimously approved.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion.